There you go.
Good to go.
Yeah,
Ready to rock.
ready to rock.
Live.
Yeah.
Nice one, mate. Nice one. Cool. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for swinging by again. Um, this week we're going to be having a little bit of a look at sort of healthy eating and trying to sort of decipher food labels as well, because it's a bit crazy when you get out there and you get into the shop and you maybe pick up a new product, or maybe it's even just something that you've been having for years. If you maybe just trying to be a little bit more conscious about your food intake or something like that, you pick up a food that's so familiar to you and you look on the back of the packet and you try and actually decipher what it is you're eating, and you can't really make no like head or tail of it. And I think it's almost by design. I think a lot of these food labels are kind of deliberately sort of not misleading, but just difficult. Do you know what I mean? Like overcomplicated. They're stuff that's chucked on there that doesn't need to be, specific wording to get around different things and stuff like that. So yeah, we're just gonna have a little bit more of a, like I say, a look at the why we eat the food that we eat, and then how to make sure that our diet's sort of consistent of the stuff that we actually do want. Because having it same again, it's one of them where, like, we all know that we should eat 5 pieces of fruit and veg a day. Sometimes a lot of us don't, so it's kind of like having the knowledge is one thing, but being able to actually put it into practice is something else as well.
Yeah.
And I'm sure obviously someone who trains yourself, you have, like, there'll be days where you're like bang on your food, they bang on your training, and there's other days where you're like, do you know what I can do with a break today? But I mean, like, when you hit the shops and you're looking for stuff, or you maybe like thinking, I'm going to try this week.
I got really excited the other day because I went into Sainsbury's and there was like a little they had the sweet potatoes were reduced.
Oh, so nice, happy days, mate.
Like,
little wins. And that's all it's about. Little wins in life, isn't it?
I got a little bag that you can keep them in and you can take back, and you can wait in that little bag as well, like a reusable vegetable bag.
It was like a bag for life, but for your tatties.
Yeah, that's how low the bar is at the minute.
Yeah, you got like a little cupboard and just like hooks on the inside. That's me tatty bag. That's the one for me apples. Yeah.
I was buzzing. I was absolutely over the moon. It was 30p for the little bag.
Result, mate. Absolute result. Class, man, class. And of course, sweet potatoes are they're a good source of our carbohydrates, and I actually prefer them.
And protein as well. And vitamins. It's got it
fiber.
All. Just eat a sweet potato, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I was so apprehensive before I tried my first one, because I've never been a massive eater or like that experimental with my eating. And I was just like, sweet potato, those two words don't even make sense in my head. But they're so good.
Yeah. Have it as like a jacket potato.
Yeah, jacket potato, bit of tuna, lovely.
Beans, cheese, just a little bit of cheese.
Well, that's it.
Superior in every way to a normal potato. I don't care how anyone says.
Potato was. Wait, put it this way: do you have your own personal bag for normal taters?
No, I don't.
No, you don't. No, there you go, mate. There you go.
No, it's all.
There you go. More disputed. What were you? 5 minutes in?
Yeah.
Taters done.
Sweet potatoes. Done. Eat them now.
Yeah. You on commission?
No. I just a massive advocate.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely, mate. Me as well, mate. Like for anything, chips, like you say, tatties, like mash and stuff like that. But they're really good if you've never tried them, give one a go. So before we sort of jump in at the deep end with all these technical terms, all the technical stuff, we've just got a little word jumble to do to start us off. So either grab yourself a pen and paper, if you work better that way. I know I would with stuff like this, or maybe just have a scan through, see what jumps out at you. We'll have 5-10 minutes or so, just while you've got a bit of time to sort of work those out, get what you can, and then of course, as always, we'll go through we'll go through again, and I'll sort of just tell you what's what as we go through.
Yeah.
And then we'll roll on from there, buddy. So all words to do with our diet, nutrition, foods that we might be having. Just have a few minutes and work your way through and see which of those you can sort of decipher and decrypt.
You know what I'm looking forward to put on in the background?
Oh, I do, mate. It's got to be done. It's got to be done after yesterday.
Oh God, I can't find the same video. 1 hour happy. Oh, that's so loud. Oh my God. Let's have a look. It's still a little bit loud.
Yeah.
Oh. Turn it again. It makes mixing has not been good today. Right, there we go. That should be better.
No. Nice one. Nice one. Cheers, man. We're gonna have something to do while we're working away, something to listen to. It's always nice, isn't it? I always work better with a bit of music on in the background, like.
Just breaks it up from it being like dead silent or hearing like the buzz of the
buzz of the screen.
No, like the photocopier and all. This building makes all the weird noises, so it's like a creaky old building. So
I forget you in the office every weekend, yeah.
Yeah, it's if you sit, like if I'm listening to music or something and like it's on YouTube and the video finishes and then I'll be like just sitting listening and I'm like, what's that noise?
Like you sit in silence for like 10 minutes and you're like, what's that? Where's the music gone? Where's that come from? Yeah. Strange. So just while everyone's taking a few minutes to work through this, buddy, and of course if you're watching this back, by all means just pause it and take as much time as you want. You know, if you really one of them where you like want to get them all done before you move on, you know, by all means get it paused. But I mean, you're someone yourself who even as far as I know, has trained for years. You know, in one capacity or being fit.
Fit.
Well, yeah, you know, subjective. Yeah. But how did you go about getting your sort of diet in place that you've got in place, and what you're doing now? Because I know you were saying before, because I've been there where I've done sort of what we call the dirty bulk, where it's like I want to put some weight on, I want to put some size on, I'm just going to scran absolutely everything.
That was the start.
I think it's the start for a lot of people, especially similar sort of like body type, you know.
Yeah, it's the build that I struggle with.
The aim is to build. Yeah, that's it. You know, you don't want like someone with a body type of like Eddie Hall doesn't need to be going out and doing like a dirty bulk necessarily.
No.
And then of course you realise that there's more to it than just necessarily like muscle gain and muscle loss and weight gain and weight loss. There's health in there as well. You know, there is that aspect of health, and we've sort of said before how you can be in the most amazing condition of your life to get on stage at Mr. Olympia at like 2% body fat, but really like you're probably like malnourished.
Yeah.
You know, there'll be, because there's a lot of the same foods, because it's control, isn't it? You know, when you need to know what you're having, there's a lot of the same foods, there's a lot of repetition, so there's a big sort of scope there to be sort of deficient in a lot of stuff that the body needs, just by not eating it every day.
That was one of my main things. It was just like a focus on, okay, right, I'm gonna get protein, carbs, and fat, and then everything else sort of went by the wayside a little bit.
Yeah.
And the other thing is getting obsessed with doing like one type of training. So only doing strength training and then being like, hang on a minute, I'm knackered. I mean, all the elbows are hurting, my knees are like my joints. Not now because I've cut back, I've dropped back completely at the minute. But everything was hurting. I was in actual agony at times. And that's giving myself like a neck problem and a back problem and everything. So it's all reversible. It's all just like, you know, it's inflammation at the minute, but it's just I've slowed right down and gone back to basics really.
I mean, it's good that you've listened to your body and sort of taken that step back, because obviously if you go in with the mindset of like no pain, no gain, like a lot of people would try and push through that and maybe injure themselves and end up sort of maybe needing 6 months away from training or exercise or whatever it is, and you end up sort of back where you started. You know, rather than just listening to your body and just taking your foot off the gas a little bit.
I think we mentioned it last week. If I'm looking at what I want to do, and what I want to do is I really don't want to have a great deal of muscle mass. Actually, what I want to do is have like good sort of lean power, like lean muscle, and be athletic rather than being massively overweight and heavy and can't move. Have poor cardiovascular fitness. So my diet again has to change a little bit as well. I can't just go and go to the gym and then go straight to McDonald's and have like a burger and chips and chicken nuggets.
Well, exactly.
I'm not going to be in the shape I want to be in.
well, yeah, you know, and like we're going to sort of get into this, but even like you say, you look at your macronutrients, and if you say to yourself, right, I just need to hit this much protein, this much carbohydrate, this much fat, like not all of those are created equal. Nope. You know what I mean? You can have 200 grams of carbs that can be pretty much entirely sugar.
Yeah.
You can have 200 grams of carbs.
You can get empty carbs like beer.
Well, pretty much.
If you have 4 beers, that's a lot of carbs, but you're not getting anything from it. It's sort of straight in and out.
Yeah, there's no nutrient in there for your body to extract. So you're having the calories, but you're not actually feeding your body anything. No. Yeah, that's where we get them like empty calories from.
It's a waste of. Well, it's not a waste because you do have to enjoy yourself, but at the same time, you start to see why things are the way they are.
Yeah, definitely.
When you track it, you're like,
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. You've got to factor it in, and it's all too easy to end up just tracking your food and like not counting the couple of beers you've had like on a weekend or a glass of wine on a night, which sort of adds up over the course of a week. It eats into your calories because what you're trying to do really is work out how much your body needs to maintain and operate just underneath that, close enough to it to be healthy and not really ran down and sort of underfed.
It is a fine line that as well, especially for anyone doing a quote unquote diet. I would take things a lot slower than trying to like, okay, I'm only going to have 2,000 calories because you're going to feel awful if you do it.
Yeah, especially if like...
Straight away, like if you go from having 4,000 to 2,000, well, that's half, your body's going to like...
What's going on? I'm essentially starving over here. Yeah.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah, like you say, like you've got to work slowly from your start point. You don't want to jump straight to sort of the finish point.
Yeah.
That's very sort of idyllic. That might be perfect. That might be years away. Because in terms of sustainability, if you go all in and really throw yourself in at the deep end of stuff like that, chances are you're going to burn yourself out with it.
Yeah.
You say to yourself, right, I'm never having this again. I'm never having that again. This is going. This is only happening then, and it's sort of like all of a sudden, you're not getting any of the stuff that you might actually enjoy.
Yeah.
So sooner or later, you're just off the wagon. And there is very much this mindset, I think, of being on the wagon and being off the wagon. Like it seems to be very black and white. Like I'm either chicken, rice and broccoli every day, or like I'm gonna get a takeaway and go out on the high. Yeah, pretty much, and there is this sliding scale, and it comes down to the whole thing of if you do have a bad meal or whatever, don't let it ruin the rest of your day. Like your next meal's your chance to get back on track, not tomorrow, not next Monday. Exactly, yeah. Your next meal is your chance to get back on top of your diet. And same again, I mean, I've always preached this to you, I don't like to use the word diet in terms of like certainly implying something that's temporary, because what we try and sort of work towards is more of a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
Your new health, your new physique will only hang around as long as your new eating habits do. So it's not a case of, right, I'll do this for 12 weeks and then I'll get my body that I want, and then I'm back to, like you say, sandwiching and packing a crisp for dinner every day. Because sooner or later it's going to catch up with you again.
Yeah, I mean, to answer your original question of how did they get it on track, I looked it up as in what would you need. I like you did, so you're either in a deficit of calories, as in you're just under what you would need, or you're just over.
Yeah.
I was only just over, but I equally I did it. I started doing it the opposite, because originally I was eating all the calories, as many as I could.
Yes,
probably hitting like 4,000 a day, 5,000 a day.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel very good, so I was like, this kind of go on like this, like. So instead of, I worked it out, and the amount of calories I needed to replace everything and be like a break even was about 3,200. So I started having 3,500 instead.
And feel better for it.
Yeah, and I would do, if I was doing it the other way and trying to cut down, I would do the same, but in the other direction. I'd maybe do 200 or 300 calories under. I wouldn't go the other way because I couldn't do it mentally more than anything. Like my brain was just not functioning properly.
Well, it won't be,
Just either massively tired or just like really really irritated.
Yeah, because like even if you're going to bed and your body's got that much food to digest as well, your quality of sleep's going to be infected, which rolls into the next day, which obviously has a knock-on effect, and it can create a bit of a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you say, find out where you want to be calorie-wise and try and operate sort of just under or just over. I've always worked at like a maximum of saying like a 10% deficit. Like, do you know what I mean? So say like if you need 1,000 calories, just for example, I'd have you working at 900.
Yeah.
So you can still function and do what you need to do, and then. Like I say, the first week I've ever worked with anybody, I don't give them any food advice. I just give them a diary and say, track what you're eating now.
Yeah.
Because like you say, that's the best place to go from. If you're on 4,000 calories, you don't want to drop down to 2. You might go 3.5 down to 3, and it's got to be gradual.
I'll towards the end, I'll try and put my phone up and I'll show you I'll screen share it with the stream.
Okay.
I'll put the MyFitnessPal app on there and give people an idea of how it works.
Okay, cool, yeah.
Because basically the massive plus with that one and all the things we'll talk about today is you can scan it and it's got obviously it's got a direct a list, a database of products that you scan in by the barcode, and it tells you what one serving is. So if you've had a packet of crisps, you scan that packet of crisps, it's got all the nutritional information, it just adds it to your day. So you don't have to, at the end of the day in your food diary, you don't have to do any adding up. It just does it for you.
Oh, it's awesome,
isn't
it?
Pie chart and a total calories.
Yeah.
But I'll have a little go. I'll try and I might have to do a break so I can set it up. We're gonna have a little walk through that if you want as well, just as a little bonus.
yeah, that could be a good little bonus, that, buddy. It's a really, like you say, it's a really helpful tool. I mean, even when you're saying about scanning barcodes, it's not even just a packet of crisps, is it? It's
anything. Yeah.
If you were to say have just like a pie, for example, and it says, this is 4 servings.
Yeah.
You scan the barcode, you can say, well, I've had a quarter. Do you know what I mean? Or I've had 1 serving.
I think it goes down to an 1/8 or something like that.
Does it? Yeah.
But you can scan stuff and make a meal, quote unquote meal. So if you've had meatballs and pasta and some veg, some Mediterranean veg or whatever, you can scan those things individually, tell it what the portion size was, save it as a meal. So you might have done 2 or 3 meals of it, and then the next time you've eaten it, you go to My Saved Meals and you press that one and you add it to your diary for the day. And it's really good.
It's already there, isn't it? Yeah, it's already there, just waiting for you.
You get a bit of a shock though sometimes. Yesterday I had a bit of a mare because, the backstory is I'm waiting for some protein to be delivered that I bought on Black Friday, which to be honest I don't think ended up being any cheaper. But I didn't have anything else to get any protein, so I was eating food. But because I was eating food, I was eating things like nuts and cheese.
Okay.
I had lots of nuts and cheese yesterday, and I looked at the calories and I was like, oh my god, I've completely ruined the day.
Bit of a lighter day today, mate.
Definitely, 100%. I got soup for my dinner because I couldn't do that again.
You see, you're going keto there, aren't you, on the nuts and cheese?
Yeah, well, it was just protein content. I was like, there's nothing in the house that's got high protein in, so I'm just gonna have to raid the fridge.
Well, that's it, isn't it? And that's the beauty of is it like a whey protein or something that you've ordered?
It's
whey. So you're not getting the calories other than the protein.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously when you're eating your nuts and your cheese and stuff, there's all that other stuff in there as well. Yeah. But I do find that obviously when it comes to a pure calories point of view, those weight supplements can help, you know what I mean? Help you get your protein in without some of the fats or the carbohydrates that might come with it as well.
Yeah.
But of course, on a sort of evolution point of view, you're better off eating your macronutrients as best you can.
Yeah.
You're better off eating your calories. Your body will get more from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, which have you gone for your whey protein? Can you remember?
Protein.
You kind of go wrong with my protein, really.
I think it's jam roly-poly was the flavour.
Oh, nice.
And I've took a risk
get all
because
sorts of flavours.
Yeah, it's 2.5 kilos, so if I don't like it, I'm not.
Straight into the deep end, get tubbed like that.
It's that. Where do you just for anyone listening who is thinking about maybe training or maybe they have muscle cramps and problems? I bought some BCAAs, which are, for anyone who doesn't know what they are, they're amino acids.
Yeah.
What do you make of that as someone who is a trained professional?
It's another one of those where I've never sort of tried to take any supplement religiously.
Yeah.
Certainly even pre-workouts and stuff like that, because it gets to the point where you can't
train without
operate.
It. Yeah.
Can't operate without them. Yeah, pretty much. And it would be a case of if someone was saying to me, look, I can afford a supplement, do you know what I mean, to get me through training or starting training, I would maybe put that towards a protein or something like that rather than BCAAs. Yeah. But they can be really sort of helpful. They're sort of they're sort of like the profiles for your proteins anyway, and they're really good for sort of helping duration, endurance, longevity, so you might actually get a little bit more out of your session, as opposed to a pre-workout, which is going to give you probably a big sugar or caffeine boost before you start training, and sort of light a fire under your backside and chuck you in there. This is less sort of, it's less stimulating, and it's more just making sure that your muscles on a chemical level have what they actually need to sort of fire.
Yeah.
So you might get an extra couple of reps out at the end.
That was mine. It was more, to be honest, for running and football, because I get a lot of cramps. especially after about 45 minutes, I'm cramping up. Like my legs are I'm starting to feel it. So I've tried to address that, but that was just it. I just thought it'd be interesting to see what you thought.
Yeah, you could try that. I mean, that could even be like a lactic acid sort of thing, sort of building up. But the more you do that, the more efficient your body should become at clearing that off. Pretty much, because that's what it is when you're getting that sort of burning feeling in your legs or in your glutes or whatever when you're squatting. Like that is just your body's it's building up this waste product, lactic acid, and it just can't cleave it fast enough. And same again, the more you do whatever it is, the more efficient your body's going to come at doing that. So you might find it sort of gets better by itself over time anyway. But anything you can be taking to sort of help your rest, your recovery, your endurance and stuff like that, it can't hurt, mate. Yeah, definitely not.
It's expensive though. That's the other thing.
That's the thing with these supplements, you know. Someone could stand in the shop and say, right, we're going to get you on a protein, right? Then you want a pre-workout,
and you want your BCAAs, and it's like
oh, you got vitamin D, or you got to have vitamin D. In fact, why don't you just have all of these?
Your multivitamins,
magnesium, zinc, potassium. You know, the first supplement I would say to most people would be to get yourself a good multivitamin. Yeah. You know, if you're going to do any of them, get yourself a good.
I do take multivitamins as well.
Yeah. Get yourself a multivitamin. Because
I'd recommend with multivitamins, not if you get like the dissolvable ones, like the effervescent ones, don't have them all in one serving, because you will notice that your wee will go bright orange, and apparently you don't absorb it as well. So yeah. Maybe I normally split it in two. I'll have half a tablet on the morning and half a tablet on the night.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Both with food as well.
Yeah. So is that like a full multivitamin rather than say just like a vitamin C or something?
No, yes, it's like a full multivitamin tablet.
Nice. I've never seen them ones. I've seen like the vitamin C and stuff like that that'll dissolve.
Home bargains.
Right. Another thing to mention when it comes to your multivitamins, there's going to be a lot of names out there. There's going to be a lot of brands out there. More extra for a name, a brand, or some brightly coloured packaging, pretty much, you know. Same again, just sort of have a look on the back. Obviously, the more different vitamins that are in there, the better. Because you can find, because I noticed ones for kids, you know, like the chewable ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the vitamin gummy.
Well, yeah, pretty much the like the chewy ones tend to have. They've got the same sort of percentages in, but less.
Music off, 'cause I'm gonna go less. Yeah, go on.
But it's there's less variety in there, you know. So it's giving you some and sort of as much as your body needs, but there might actually be less vitamins and minerals in there. You know, it's probably ones that are more specific for like kids, and stuff like that. But yeah, certainly as we get older, we need more. They do. They're nicer to take as well. You can convince yourself you're having a sweet, can't you?
Yeah, they're pretty much just a jelly, really.
Yeah, but definitely. If you were going to go with any supplementation at all, I would say start with like a multivitamin, and then same again. What we're going to look at in a second, it'll give us an idea what we want in our diet, and same again. All supplements are there. They're called a supplement for a reason. They're meant to supplement a diet that isn't getting something. Yeah, you know. So if we can put it into the diet, happy days. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So
that was my big mistake in the past. Like when I was in college and stuff, I was just eating like complete garbage, and then having like a multivitamin drink, and be like, I'm sorted now. I don't have to eat any veg. I don't have to have any fruit. I'm all right.
Spend all your money on supplements, and then like, I can only afford a McDonald's for me dinner.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll be fine.
Yeah, but of course, in an ideal world, we would be getting all of these things from our food, and it's sort of as the food industries have gone off in the directions that they have, corporations have sort of taken over. Profit seems to reign over human well-being.
Definitely.
So yeah, we got to take it upon ourselves and sort of educate ourselves as best we can, and like you've done yourself, buddy, try and get the best diet in place for you, because there is no sort of eating routine. There's one size fits all. Yeah. You know, it's different for everybody, and we're all going to react different to different stuff.
And you're going to have your bad days as well. You know.
Of course.
You're gonna drop off a little bit. You're only human.
Motivation comes and goes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's why we try and teach a little bit of discipline as well, you know, because I think of discipline as doing something even though you don't want to.
Yeah.
You know.
Help as well.
Yeah. Motivation's great, but it's fleeting.
Yeah, definitely. it's there's some days that you don't want to get up and even go for a walk, but you might as well.
Yeah, that's it. You feel better for it. You definitely feel better for it once you've done it, because it's that sense of it's endorphins as well, but it's that sense of accomplishment as well, I think.
Yeah, I'm just editing the PowerPoint so I can type the answers in.
Yeah, no worries, buddy. Let us know when you're done and I'll start blasting through them.
You can start.
Okay, cool. So just running through, unscrambling them, and just a little bit about them. Yeah, so we've got first one is carbohydrate. Probably a word that you've heard before. We're going to get on into a little bit more depth about what carbohydrates do, but it's more of like our fuel source, where sort of if you're someone who's getting ready for a run the next day might load up on carbohydrates the day before, just so they're going to get that energy when they need it when they're running. Yeah. Second one is protein. So protein is kind of like a buzzword around training, around gyms, stuff like that, because it's essentially sort of like the building blocks for our cells and our muscles and stuff like that. So you can train as hard as you want and exercise as hard as you want and damage those muscle fibers, which is the aim. But if you're not having the protein to recover, you're not going to see the progress, really. You're just going to end up sort of broken down and damaged, And I've seen people do it who maybe aren't eating enough protein, but they're training like someone who's in like a protein excess.
Yeah.
And sooner or later you do end up with injuries or niggles and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that?
Just Dan bursting out, doing his thing.
Class, man. Third one down, is fat.
Yeah.
So fat, again, there's like this negative sort of association with the word fat. Sort of like, I feel like it's been...
don't need it.
Yeah, fat shamed like that much, and it's sort of vilified in media and stuff like that. We don't realise that we actually need it. Sort of like on a cellular level, it sort of helps our cells operate. It's insulation, sort of talking back on sort of same again as when we were in like survival mode, hunter-gatherer. Insulation was our best way of actually keeping warm.
Yeah.
So fats, although we sort of have it drilled into us that fat is a bad thing and it's to be avoided, there are good fats and there are bad fats, but we do need fats and oils in our diet for a lot of different reasons.
It's quite an efficient like energy source as well, right? Fat.
It can be, yeah, it can be. Well, essentially, if you eat an excess of carbohydrates that don't get used, they get turned into and eventually stored as fat anyway.
Yeah.
Which is why it's actually turned out that even sort of, it's funny that they've vilified fat, all these corporations, while they've poured sugar down our necks for years, because
becomes the same thing.
It does, yeah, it does. And again, there's good and bad of both that we're going to get a bit of a look at as well. But just because you have fat does not mean you are fat. We all need it. Of course they do. So number 4 is diet. So same again, just touching on it. I think of diet as sort of like your food routine and your structure and the way that you manage your nutrition, rather than again implying something that's temporary. All these fad diets. That's how we get a lot of yo-yo dieting. There's no framework to move into when you stop using their system, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
As soon as you say to yourself, right, I'm not doing Weight Watchers anymore, it's like, right, well, what do I do now then?
Yeah.
Some of those sort of like stabilizers have been taken away. So yeah, that's the way I always think about it. Like that, like Juice Plus when Juice Plus came out. Oh man, honestly, it's like what
Slim Fast as well. That was a one, right?
Yeah, stuff like that. Like if I give you an apple and tell you to eat nothing but this apple all day, and you'll lose weight. Yeah, of course you will.
Yeah,
of course you will. It doesn't make it a magic apple.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean I can charge you whatever I want for that apple, which is essentially what it was,
Yeah, I think that, I can't remember his name. I'll have to look it up. But there's a guy who runs like a program in America for like people who are extremely obese, and he does stuff like that. Like they'll go to like a cabin and they'll do like outdoor stuff, like hunting and like bits of farming and gardening and all that kind of stuff to get them active without making them do exercise, like hiking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then for food wise, you'll just give them like a big bushel of apples or something and say, well, look, you can eat as many of those apples as you want, but that he knows that that's not going to make them put weight on because they're only going to eat like 2 apples and be like, right, okay, that's enough apples.
Yeah, I've had enough apples now. Yeah.
So it's a way of like sort of tricking the body into stop overeating. It's quite interesting actually.
Yeah, I might have to try and dig that out. Actually, that sounds canny.
It's a bit of a weird one because obviously you have to own a cabin and be able to go hunting and stuff. But it's more the idea of, okay, well, maybe if I just strip out some of the stuff that I'm eating and I only eat this for a little bit, or I only eat these foods and see how I get on with them.
Yeah, because even going from being quite sedentary and quite sort of idle throughout the day to doing stuff like you say, farming, cleaning, do you know what I mean? Walking, anything like that.
Essentially, like it's just a long walk.
Just a long walk, just don't tell anybody how long it's going to be. Yeah. But like you say, there's other ways to get exercise and movement and calorie burning stuff into your day. It doesn't have to be running on a treadmill. It doesn't have to be lifting weights. Sometimes it can just be getting that little bit more mobile.
Yeah. Stairs. Walk up down the stairs, man.
That's it, yeah.
It's the win. It's always the dream, the stairs. I worry more about tracking me flight to stairs on a day than I do steps. It's more beneficial.
Yeah, how much altitude have I gained today?
Yeah, elevation. That's all about.
Yeah, nice, man. Okay, so number 5 would be food.
Yeah.
So food, it's something that we all have our own relationship with, but we need it for energy, and that is where our calories are coming in, because that is pretty much what our food gives us. It's just giving us the energy in one way or another to be able to do what we need to do, and which rolls us into number 6, which is energy. For all we say that carbohydrates are a good source of fuel. Fat can be, if you haven't got the carbs in your system, your body will
be, can't it? Like any food.
Well, yeah, your body struggles to burn protein for energy, and we'll kind of use it as a last resort. Then you're talking more if you're that sort of malnourished, because you think for your body to start using protein, you're not getting enough carbs and you're not getting enough fat. So how many calories are you getting in?
Yeah.
So probably the protein that your body's going to use is the muscle that's already there, which is where you get wastage, and your body does start eating itself if you're underfed.
That doesn't happen for a long while though, right? Like you have to go quite a substantial amount of time without food before that starts happening.
Yeah, it'll burn fat that it can, it'll burn carbs that it can, it'll burn fats that it can, it'll burn stored fats that it can, it'll burn fat from muscles that it and tissues that it can.
Fat and all
pretty much, your
lungs and your heart and all that.
Yeah,
sort of stuff.
You're going to be pretty lean before your body starts certainly using protein for energy. Yeah, but that is what we eat our food for. That is what calories are at the end of the day. Yeah. It's a measurement of energy. Number 7 is vegetables. So same again, aim for 5 portions a day. If you can, try and vary it, especially if you're eating similar things every day. You don't want to sit and have your 5 pieces, like you say, you don't want all 5 pieces of your fruit and veg to be apples every day. Do you know what I mean? You're soon going to get sick. Yeah, try and vary it. And you're going to be stocked up on vitamins and minerals that are in apples, but all the vitamins and minerals that aren't in apples, you're not going to be getting, So try and vary it a little bit and try and get some different colors on your plate, and it keeps it more engaging for you as well if you're trying different foods and recipes and stuff.
Yeah.
So number 8 is meat. So meat is going to be a good source of certainly protein, be it red meat, white meat, fish, good source of protein, potentially a good source of, depending on what protein it is, there's going to be fats in there as well. Chicken is obviously more lean than like a ribeye and a steak and stuff like that. Yeah, pretty much. So same again. You've got to be careful what else is coming with the sort of nutrients that you're going looking for, which is why they sort of advise, look, although we need protein to maintain ourselves, let's not try and eat red meat all day every day. Which you can sort of get behind.
The lower grade stuff like mince and burgers and meatballs,
processed stuff. They're
fine. Like they're very high protein content, but they've got a lot of fat in as well. So like say you get a pack of 12 meatballs and you have 6. There's probably like 600 calories in some of them if the big meatballs. They'll be calorie rich.
Yeah, definitely. I find that even then, I know that even like with mince, you've got to go and buy kind of mince from the shop, or most of us would need to. But then if you're going to make burgers or meatballs, do your own, and you know what's going into them. You know, you can chop some onion or some veg and chuck them in there as well. You know, and just make it a little bit healthier for yourself, and you're avoiding a lot of like preservatives and stuff like that then as well if you have made your own.
Definitely.
But yeah, meat is going to be a good source of protein, certainly iron, and that's kind of where you'll find that someone who's vegan or vegetarian might have like an iron deficiency, you know, and you're looking at supplementation or like really, really needing to nail in what veg you're eating to make sure that you are getting the iron that you need.
Got to be specific, innit?
Yeah. Otherwise, you can end up sort of with like anemia and stuff like that, and just be fatigued all the time. Which absolutely nobody wants, you know. We know how important our sleep is, and we do what we do to feel good. We don't do this to feel like we're running through the mill and dragging ourselves down the road. Okay, so number 9 is dairy. So a good source of, say, sort of like calcium. Fats as well, you know, it can be a good source of like good fats. It can be a good way to get sort of even just sort of probiotics, like bacteria in as well. You know, when we talk about sort of gut function and gut health, and like these, you remember them Actimel drinks that are all like for, did you hear that they were meant to be all of these like probiotics and stuff like that, and there was a little bit in there, but there was also like a load of sugar as well, you know. But yeah, dairy can be a good way of getting sort of like that good bacteria in as well. But yeah, so it's mainly like calcium and stuff like that, which is why it's important in like a child's diet as well. You know, making sure that they're getting enough for sort of development as well as maintenance. You know, as adults, we've sort of to a degree grown as much as we're going to grow. It's pretty heartbreaking to say at 5'6". You know, but at the same time, you know, yeah, we've got to make sure that kids are getting stuff that we don't necessarily need because they are still growing and developing. Number 10 would be fish. So touching back on it again, you know, good source of protein, a good source of good fats as well. You know, be it like your omega-3 and stuff like that, good for brain function. Because like we say, not all fats are created equally. Some are bad. You know, some are like saturated fats that you're going to get in meat products and stuff. Some are trans fats, you know, which have been eaten through a process. To make saturated fats even more unhealthy. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's all they are, you know. And then we've got sort of like our good fats that we need that are going to come out of, say, like avocado, nuts in general, you know, sort of what we were talking about earlier on. And like I say, fish is a good place to get that from as well. And like you say, we do need fat, you know. Definitely. Calcium for number 11. Sort of coming back to dairy again, you know, really good for bone development and strength and stuff like that. Without that, you can end up getting stuff or ending up with problems like osteoporosis, you know, sort of as you get older, which is as the bones get sort of more brittle or more fragile, you know, much more likely to break if you do have a fall or fracture or something like that. And it can be painful as well, you know, so.
Skin and hair as well, right?
It is, yeah. Teeth, nails as well. You know,
I think, you know, if you are calcium deficient, I'm sure you get something on your nails, like you get like little spots where they're like down from the inside. I'm sure.
Interesting.
White spots, you get little white spots on your nails on the inside.
Oh, okay.
That can be a sign.
That's interesting.
Of calcium deficiency.
Yeah, that's interesting because I mean, like it's. Because again, it's without tracking these things and like you say, putting them into something like MyFitnessPal. We don't even know how much calcium we're getting. Never mind if that's enough, you know. So we're not going to know if we're going to have problems with bone density and stuff like that until we get it. You know. So yeah, sort of being aware of what you are eating and how much you need of stuff like this. It's really important sort of part of the process.
Definitely.
So number 12, we've got salt. So salt for number 12, same again. We need it to a degree, you know. It's an electrolyte, you know. In terms of sort of chemical processes happening in the body, we need salt in there. But you find that in our diet today, there's so much salt added to stuff. We tend to not really need to add any of our own. You know, and it's easy to fall into the habit of still adding your own. Like my granddad's a nightmare for it because obviously he's grown up in an age where he's been growing all of his own veg and stuff like that, not going and buying stuff from the shop that's going to last 2 weeks if he wanted to. you know, with all these preservatives on. So me granddad's, he'll still hoy a load of sugar on just because he's in the habit of doing it. He's done it for years. I'm like, Granddad, there's enough in it now.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? There's
right,
enough already in there. So they recommend try and get no more than sort of 6 grams a day.
Yeah.
And at the same time, yeah, you can be salt deficient as well, which is like we say, you're going to end up getting like cramps and stuff like that. You know, if I've been working with somebody in the gym who gets like frequent cramps when they're training and stuff like that,
yeah,
I'll say to them, like, make sure you're getting enough salt. How much salt are you getting? Can we start tracking that? You know, because if you don't have the data in front of you, you can't do anything about it. You know, at the end of the day,
salt makes you absorb water as well, right? Or have I got that wrong?
I think it sort of helps binding and sort of like on the uptake of water.
Okay.
And helping it sort of like, but and again, it's more of the cellular level.
Yeah.
You know, cells need salt to function as well, like to a degree. And I think it's more that side of the process where your cell can work more efficiently to use the water that you've taken in. Yeah.
Because there's like salt in like some isotonic drinks, right?
Isotonic? Are you talking like sort of like Lucozade Sport and stuff like that? They're isotonic, aren't they? Yeah. Because like I say, it is like an electrolyte. You know, and it is what your body, and you can get electrolyte water. You don't have to have a ton of salt.
Yeah.
To be getting a little bit of salt, and certainly enough just for your body to fire in the way that it needs to.
Yeah. But things like potassium as well, like they're quite like in a banana. If you have a banana, that should stop you getting muscle cramps as well, because that is a type of salt, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or mineral, I can't remember. It's one of them.
Well, a mineral. Yeah. At the end of the day, which is sort of what we're going to get onto in a second.
As well, though, isn't it?
Yeah. With your macro and your micronutrients, yeah, but it's something important. We do need it, and that'll sort of that would bring us on to the next one as well. Water, like you say, electrolytes. You can get electrolyte water, you know, which is designed to help restore that sort of thing. You're better off getting it in your foods, you know. Same as anything. If you can get it through your food and your diet, then you're much better off. Water, we all sort of know is important to our survival. We're sort of 70% water. You know, so we need to make sure that we're topping it up, because we you know, we can sweat a lot depending on how active you are. The sort of advice for 2 liters a day of water is basic for someone who doesn't move very much. You know, that's someone who is quite sedentary. So if you are moving all day, if you're gardening, if you're plastering, you know, manual labor, anything like that, you are going to need more than that throughout the day, especially if you're then going and training later on. And it helps flush through. Yeah. You know, it helps flush a load of rubbish out your system.
Well, if you're ill, that's what they tell you, isn't it?
Like you what, sorry, bud?
If you're ill or unwell in any way, that's one of the first things they tell you is make sure you get enough fluids.
Yeah, plenty of fluids,
because your body starts dehydrate, because your body tries to purge itself, basically. So it tries to like expel everything out, so you're automatically, even if you're sitting completely still, you're losing fluids. Internally, it's just flushing everything out. And it's like, well,
not to say that you might be sat there like with a fever sweating. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't have to be doing anything, but you're like you're sweating without doing much, and you are going to become depleted over time. So you've got to make sure you're topping up. Like I've got a 1 liter bottle at the minute. Yeah. And I'll just fill that up on a night, get it out. Anything like that, grab it out first thing in the morning. And then obviously I know that I've got to get through at least 2 of those a day. You know, that's my aim. If I can get through 2, I'll aim for 3.
I get 3 normally. I try to force 3 in.
It's just trying to be regular with it and consistent as well.
But
you know,
what I would say is, and this is especially for like when you have, obviously people aren't having people around at the minute, but like hammering in cups of tea and coffee doesn't help. Like me older relatives will always be like massively dehydrated because all they do is drink tea all day. Like they don't have it. They have maybe a glass of water or a glass of orange juice or whatever on the morning, and then maybe a glass of water before they go to bed. But like other than that, they're drinking tea. Just all day tea.
And
it's like that's not like, it's, you know, 2 or 3 cups of tea, you'd probably be all right, but with no water alongside it as well, like it's just not,
that's it. Like for a day as well, you know, not so bad for a day. I haven't drank much water today, I'll need to get on it tomorrow. But if that becomes habit and routine, you know, it really will have like a big roll-on effect.
Yeah, definitely. Not particularly good for you with the old caffeine.
Well, that's it. There's caffeine as well, which like I say, everybody responds different too, and everybody needs sort of like a different amount. Some people don't need any at all, really.
Yeah, some people are weird like that, where they never drink, and they go out and they can run like a half marathon distance without drinking any water, and then they get home and maybe have like a glass of water and maybe like some fruit.
Yeah,
and they're all right.
Yeah. Not sustainable though.
No.
You know, so sooner or later it'll catch up with you. Which could sort of put us onto number 14, which bit of a curveball. This one is 2 words. It's a food diary.
Yeah.
So really helpful tool. Like you're saying, even be it MyFitnessPal, tracking stuff that way, writing stuff down. It can be a really helpful way to sort of just be aware what you are actually having, and maybe reflect on it backwards as well. You know, if you get to the end of the week and you haven't lost any weight or gained any weight, depending on what your goals are, you don't feel any better. You can't go back and reflect on your week if you haven't got it there in front of you. You can't be like, well, what can I do differently this Monday that I didn't do last Monday? Yeah. It's hard to say Sunday night, you know, after 6 days. Did you have a biscuit at dinner? You know, what did you have for your tea?
Yeah.
What did you have on the side? Did you have dessert? Anything like how much water did you have? Until you can go and sort of reflect back on it, you can't do much about it. So yeah, food diary is really helpful in just sort of keeping you on track. And it keeps you honest as well, you know. If you're going to do it right. Like, if you know full well that you're going to have a biscuit, you've got to write it down in your food diary.
Yeah.
It's more of a deterrent, you know. You're more likely to say, well, I'll not bother having the biscuit.
Yeah.
You know, it might just be I can't be bothered to log it. At the same time, it might be a case of I know I shouldn't have it. And in a few days' time, when I get on the scales, I'm going to be looking back at this point and saying, should I have had it at all, you know?
Yeah. Is it worth it? Is what
exactly,
I always think. Is this worth knacking up a day of actually, I feel all right and I feel quite good. I've eaten quite well. Do I want to knock all this up by getting into bad habits again? No.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you know, and like I say, there is room for stuff in moderation in your diet.
Yeah, that was going to be the other thing. Was I have actually? Do you know what it is? I'm looking at my thing now, and I'm only on. It's 7 o'clock at night, and I'm only on 1,200 calories. Like I'm having a biscuit. Like, do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Topping up a little bit is very different to getting all your calories from biscuits and junk and do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So there is a trade-off, you know. If you can look at a day and say, right, I'm going to be having some naughty carbs. I'm going to be having some fats that I maybe shouldn't have, you know. Just factor them in somewhere else.
We have a friend who had a steak pie sandwich within his macros.
Oh, okay.
If you want to be able to, so he would eat spot on most of the time, like most days of the week, and then on one particular day, be like, right, I'm having a steak pie sandwich.
Steak pie sandwich.
So with 2 slices of bread with a pie in the middle and some cheese on as well.
So that's essentially working your weekly sort of food
all
uptake
around a steak pie
a steak pie sandwich. Yeah, and you know what? It shows you can be done. It can be done.
On the other days, his calories were bang on. He was under the threshold. He was losing weight, and he factored it in, so you can do it.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Of course,
I wouldn't recommend a steak pie sandwich, but you can definitely do it.
From a nutritional level, definitely not. But it's
a treat, though.
Well, of course it is. You know, like we say, everything in moderation, but we've got to have those things that we enjoy as well. Otherwise, you end up just packing the whole thing in.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause none of us do what we do in terms of food, diet, exercise. We don't do it to be miserable. We do it to feel better. You know. And of course longevity as well. Right, let's get these finished up. So number 15, we had sugar. So same again, I've kind of gone on about it so far, how there's a lot of sugar in foods these days, you know, that in stuff that doesn't need sugar, be it as a preservative or something to make it maybe more palatable, certainly to kids, you know. Or, like I say, all this thing about obesity in children and stuff like that, and staying away from fatty foods and junk foods and stuff like that. But how many schools have still got vending machines where they can go and get sweets and chocolate and stuff like that? I know there's been a big push recently to sort of take those out. I remember as I was sort of leaving school, there was rumours that stuff was getting changed for healthier stuff, and at that age there was war. There was hell on, man. But like, with a little bit of perspective, you can see why that needs to be done, because there is just so much sugar. And we're actually going to look at a few food labels this morning, and just see where sugar's in stuff that we wouldn't even expect sugar to be in, and it might go under a different name. You know, it can be cane syrup, caramel syrup, it could be dextrose, maltose. You know, they sneak it in so many different ways. So yeah, we sort of got to be aware that even stuff you wouldn't expect sugar to be in can have sugar in, especially if you're getting it from the shops.
Yeah.
16 would be grams. So that's probably, when it comes to your food labels, what you're going to see a lot of stuff measured in. It's sort of law that a food's got to provide nutritional information per 100 grams. And that is what we work from to determine what is healthy, which we're going to look at when we get to the chart that we've got.
Yeah.
But it's going to be grams, just a unit of weight that's going to give you an idea either of how big your portion size is or how much of a macro or a micronutrients in there, be it sort of a vitamin, be it proteins, carbs, fats, all that sort of stuff. So that'll all be on there, and it's just a case of how to figure it out and break it down. Because like we say, it can be quite overwhelming.
Yeah.
Okay, and then our last one will be labels, and that's the holy grail. That's where all of our information is. It's law that there's got to be this nutritional information on food so people can make informed choices about what they're eating. Yeah. And I'm sure we've all seen sort of like the color code system as well. Is this green? Is it healthy? Is it medium? Is it red? And same again, that as helpful as that is designed to be, and to keep companies honest again, all of it sort of in one can really throw you. It can really sort of it can be overwhelming. It can be too much to sort of take in, too much to break down. So you stand there, you look at it for a few seconds, you're in the aisle, you feel like you're in the way, you've got someone 2 meters behind you who's wanting to be where you're stood, and you just say, right, chuck it in the trolley and I'll just have it. Yeah. It's easy done, especially at the minute with all the pressure of getting in and out the shops. So yeah, just a little bit of sort of knowledge going in can go a long way.
Yeah.
Right, so that's all of those then. That'll finish us up nicely. Hopefully we've got the old brain warmed up. And just a little bit of an idea about some of the words that you've maybe heard to do with nutrition and stuff like that you've maybe not really understood, or it's been a little bit unfamiliar to you. And hopefully that just makes things make a little bit more sense. So we can take a bit of a deeper dive now in, but if we go into the next, go on to the next slide.
Yeah.
So we've got what we call macronutrients. It's a word that I know I've used this morning. Macronutrients are pretty much our fats, our protein, and our carbohydrates.
Yeah.
And those are going to make up the bulk of what you eat. Yeah, we've got vitamins in there, we've got minerals in there, but the bulk of what we eat is going to be a combination of these three things. Some than others, a combination of two.
Yeah.
For example, nuts are going to be more fat and protein, not so much carbohydrates in there, But yeah, this makes up the bulk of your food, and this is the delivery system for calories pretty much. But I know we've touched on it a little bit, but there is a lot that these macronutrients actually do in our body, and I think there's a lot of focus on them just from a weight loss and gain perspective.
Yeah.
Rather than looking at them and thinking to yourself, right, have I got enough sort of fats in for this reason? It's just a case of, oh, well, I feel all right this week. My weight's gone in the direction I wanted to. Things are working. But yeah, there are a lot of different jobs that they do. So if we can spin on to the next slide, I've sort of broke it down a little bit.
Yeah.
And tried to, I know it's quite a dense slide, but it's a handy one to come back to for sort of review, for anybody who is watching this back, rather than trying to sift through and figure out where I've been talking about these things. It's there and it's handy on the slide for you to just sort of pull up. So we sort of mentioned the protein is the building blocks of the body. Your body uses it to build and repair tissue. You're using it to make enzymes, hormones, and other bodily chemicals. Like we say, not just muscle as well. Bones, cartilage, skin, blood, cells. All needs protein to not only sort of maintain itself, but to grow as well. If we are, because I know we've sort of said before how the body repairs itself all the time and is replacing old cells. So sooner or later, your body has completely repaired itself just with the food that you've given it. That is the only fuel it's got for repair. So if you haven't given it good food, that's going to show in your physique and the way that you feel. Whereas if you've given it good protein, fats and carbs to sort of rebuild itself, you're going to be in a lot better shape. Another interesting thing with protein is that per gram there's 4 calories. Yeah, so like if you eating 100 grams of protein, you're getting 400 calories in the day. And carbohydrates are the same. But with fats, we've got 9 calories per gram. So there's more than double calories per gram of fat, which is why it's so easy that fatty foods lead to weight gain. You know, you don't have to eat as much of a fatty food to get the same amount of calories from it. You can have a chicken, broccoli, and rice meal that pretty much fills you up. That you might struggle to hit 500 calories, you know, because it's quite lean. There's not much fat content in there. Whereas if you go to a McDonald's and you're getting you can eat 1,000 calories at McDonald's and be hungry in an hour. Do you know what I mean? Like
yes.
within an hour, you can be calories. Absolutely starving. Yeah. Yeah. Like granted, there's a lot of empty calories in there. You're getting a lot of junk that you don't want as well. But it tends to be the fat content that gives you the calories. You know, not to say again that fat is anything to be scared of, but it can just be aware of the calories that can be in it. You know, even your good fats, nuts and stuff like that. Calories are still calories.
Yeah.
You want good fats, but you don't want so many calories through these good fats that you're way off your calorie target for the day, you know. So that's one to be careful of, because I've heard people I've had people approach me and say, look, well it is, or Rob, I'm eating clean so I can lose weight. All I've had today for me dinner is pasta with this sauce on, and I've had a pocket full of nuts. I'm like, oh.
Even pasta alone, like it's a very starchy like carbohydrate, right? So it's
of course it is.
It's a lot in there. It's really dense, like, you know. And I think the mistake people make is you don't actually need a lot of pasta. Really.
Yeah. Because a white pasta tends to be, like you say, quite stodgy. It's going to slow your system down a little bit. At the same time, that white pasta certainly is going to have more chances like spiking your glucose and your blood sugar. Spikes are kind of what you want to avoid, and that's a topic for another day in terms of like sugar spikes and blood levels and stuff like that. But if you're spiking your blood sugar just to get through the previous slump from your last spike, you know, you're getting into a bit of a vicious cycle there as well. You're better off having carbohydrates that are going to be slow releasing across the course of the day and sort of feeding your body as it needs it, rather than just like bang, there you go. Burn it or store it, you know, because then again it's more likely to get stored as fat if your body can't burn it off. So speaking of fat, I know we've sort of said that on a cellular level we need fats and for brain function and stuff like that. They're actually going to help you maintain sort of healthy skin and healthy hair as well, because it's oils. At the end of the day, you know, be it sunflower oils or omega-3s and stuff like that. You know, good fats are going to contribute towards good skin and hair condition, you know.
Is that why if you're having too much, it's sort of linked to different things, like different skin, like say having really oily skin, or like not particularly acne, because acne is caused by something else, but having like a poorer complexion. Of course. Not to mention sort of like just the overall quality of the food that you're having, but yeah, definitely. You do need those, because like you say, it can go the other way. Bad fats and bad oils are going to show on you as well as healthy fats and healthy oils will. You know, so it's sort of like. I remember. Did you ever see? This is a bit of a tangent, but you know the guy from Papa John's, like the I think he was the founder.
Oh, okay. The Papa John. I
think it was Papa John. John Shatner.
Oh, okay.
I can't pronounce his surname, but he did like a really famous interview quite recently, and he was saying he'd been eating nothing but Papa John's pizza for 30 days, and his skin was just completely like drenched in oil. Like,
it looked wet,
pretty much running off him. It looked like he'd been like either out in the rain or just got out the shower.
Fresh out the shower.
He did not look well, so I wouldn't.
No.
There's a case in point of if you eat too much bad fat, your skin's going to take a bit of a rough time.
Bit of a whack, yeah. It's the old adage, and it's the saying that I quite like. It's what you eat in private, you'll wear in public.
Yeah.
You know, be it sugary snacks, be it fatty foods, be it a load of junk that you don't need. It shows, even if not on your physical complexion, it shows in your energy levels and stuff like that, you know. I've had people who would come in for a session and they'd tell me that they're eating such and such. I'm like, oh, good, you're going to be revved up for today's session then, and they just burn out halfway through. I'm like, what have you really been eating? Do you know what I mean? Like, have you been eating extra? Have you been leaving stuff off? Or have you just not been eating as much of this stuff as you should have done, you know?
Yeah.
Even if it's just a case of just say, oh, look, Rob, I struggled to get my last carby meal in last night, you know, to fuel us for today. Then that's fine, you know, but it shows no matter how much we kid ourselves that it doesn't, it does.
Yeah. And if you overeat before doing something, it's a bit of a balance and act really, because you know if you overeat the night before, you feel it as well.
Oh, definitely.
There's nothing worse than going out somewhere to do something physical, like when you're doing like some kind of exercise and you've eaten too much. Like straight away, your body's just like, oh no.
Well, yeah, definitely, and like you say, there's a bit of trial and error there as well because it's different for everybody.
Yeah,
and like there's no person that's better than managing you than you at the end of the day. You know your own body, so it is a little bit of trial and error. But same again, go off how you're feeling. You know.
Yeah.
Like I said, it is different for everybody, but we do all need these macro and micronutrients, you know. Another thing that fat does is sort of helping with the uptake of vitamins and stuff like that as well. So there'll be certain vitamins where you can be eating them. If you don't have sufficient fat in your diet around similar times, you know, your body struggles to actually absorb them. Yeah. So these vitamins can go to waste, you know, which is why they'll put certainly sort of like a handful of nuts in the middle of the day if it's accounted for calorie wise can't hurt.
Yeah.
You know, because you're getting fats into the system. You know, it might be not long after a meal, and it's going to help you uptake all the good stuff from the veg and that you've just had. And at the same time, some of these vitamins get stored in fats as well. Yeah. You know, so some vitamins need to be used as they come in. Other vitamins will get stored into fats, and just like fat is used, will get called upon sort of when it's needed. You know, so again, if we didn't have fat stores to store these in, we wouldn't be able to do that as well. So sort of this fear of fat that we've had drilled into us, we sort of got to dispel it a little bit, you know?
Yeah, just it's moderation and the
right type of fat
and that sort of stuff. So, quick one, I don't know if you've answered any questions in the chat. So Sue is in the chat and she was just saying that she obviously she has a litre of water through the night, and during the day she tries to have 2 litres and 5 or 6 cups of decaf coffee, which is good.
Oh, okay, yeah, we've just gone on to decaf as well. Yeah, like I've had to close that down and boot it up again for it to update. Okay. Yeah, we've just gone on to decaf for like anything after like sort of 3 o'clock. Yeah. Maybe even 2, depending on how I'm feeling. How I've slept the night before, I will. I'll just go decaf from there.
See, I'm all right with coffee now. It doesn't really do much to us, to be honest.
That's the thing, and like me dad's as well. My dad will come in from work at like 10, 11 o'clock at night and make a brew. I'm like, Dad, you having a load of coffee before you go into bed? Like, he's like, oh, it doesn't bother us.
And I know I'm sort of getting to that point now where caffeine on that level doesn't affect us. Like, I can
I mean, that was kind of why I had to pull off. I'm thinking if I'm not feeling the benefit of one coffee, I'm maybe drinking a little bit too much coffee where it's not in my body anymore. That's the thing, and that was why we went decaf. I was like, especially with this coffee machine in the corner whispering at us all day long, I was like, we're just gonna have to get a decaf because it is like I enjoy like a cuppa. I'll sit down on a night and have a cuppa, but now it'll be a decaf, you know. Otherwise, like 8 o'clock at night, you sit and have a coffee and you lay there jittering at midnight.
Yeah.
Eyes peeled. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so caffeine's one to watch out for as well.
The other thing Sue was asking, I don't know if you saw, if it's updated on your end, but just what would you do if you were going out for a meal? Can you keep the calorie count for that?
What in terms of
I think it was back when we were
tracking the meal.
Yeah, so I think we sort of mentioned it with like the way you mentioned it, the way you can sort of balance it out. So if you know you're going to have a big influx.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So when I've had clients in the gym and stuff like that are maybe going to a wedding on the weekend, you know, they're going out for a meal, they know they're seeing the family, there's a barbecue on the Saturday or whatever. Yeah. If you know it's coming and you've got a little bit of a heads up, you can plan that into the rest of the week. You know, if you know that you're going to be going out and rather than 2,000 calories, you're more than likely looking at a 3,500 calorie day. You know, you can try and knock calories off days either side of that event. Do you know what I mean? And the only way to do that is by tracking, because you can't really guess that, certainly not when you first start. Yeah. Like you say, when you get to the point where you're eating similar meals and you've got them logged and you know you've just got to make the same meal and you're getting the same nutritional info every time, that takes a lot of that away and gives you a lot of just like, right, I don't need to track everything, I know what I'm having. But you've got to do the working out and getting familiar with it first. And the only way that sort of comes from is just through tracking, you know. And it's not easy to do at first when you've never done it. But you can give it a go and then see what bits you're struggling with and then try and work on those or reach out. Do you know what I mean? I'm happy to help with stuff like that. That's part of what we're working on the Monday drop-ins, you know. Being able to track food and make sure that we're eating the right stuff. And just me and Charlotte Inskip have actually done quite a lot of work at looking with my Fitness Pal, you know, and how to work in terms of tracking, because not everybody wants to carry a pen and paper with them and write down what they're eating all the time.
Of course,
you know, certainly not like you say, Sue. If you are going out for a meal or something like that, you don't want to be like, oh, I'm just gonna sit there and track me soup, and then I'm gonna sit and track me mayonnaise. Oh, I haven't got enough for a dessert. You know, you can factor that in and kind of make sure. And now a lot of restaurants these days as well, and menus kind of go out their way to tell you how many calories are there. It might not give you your fats, protein, carbohydrates, as much information as you'd normally get from like a food label, but it might at least give you an idea how many calories are in it, you know. So again, if you've tracked to the point where you've tried to leave yourself some space, you'll be tracking during that day to know how many calories you've got left, you know. If you go out for lunch, you can maybe go a little bit more, do you know what I mean? You've got a little bit more leeway, and you might just have a smaller tea.
I think
if you know you're going out for tea.
Ones as well, like say Weatherspoons, for example, the portions are on there, some of them.
Yes, yeah.
In terms of like they've worked out the macros within them as well.
Yeah, because I mean, like that's kind of, because I don't believe that is a legal requirement or anything like that. So that is obviously some companies going above and beyond to sort of give you the information that you need. I have sort of seen that, and I think sooner or later we might end up that way where it needs to be the case, because the more leeway you give these companies that just want you to buy their product, the more they're just going to find loopholes and exploits and stuff like that. You know, I think I'd said before about Lucozade, one of my favorite ones. They did like a Lucozade Light. Came in a white bottle.
It's they changed the name of it as well to something else recently. It's like Revive or something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I know the one you mean,
because light wasn't even spelt right. It was Lite.
They always do that,
essentially, legally, it doesn't have to mean anything. Yeah. The bottle is a lighter colour. That's how they got away with that. Nutritionally, it was exactly the same. You know, so these companies will sort of try and prey on our ignorance. You know, to an extent.
I think it was beer where it came from originally. Like they would market something as a light beer, and it maybe had maybe like 50 calories less, 54 calories in it or something. Yeah, you get that quite a lot. And what I'm seeing more of now as well is protein products. Protein crisps, protein Weetabix. It doesn't tell you it's still got as much sugar in as the original one does. But it hasn't just got like that much protein in it, but really.
No, not compared to other sources of protein. It just has more protein than it did originally. You know, and like people see that and go, oh, protein, that's what I need for muscle building, and they'll just chuck it in without necessarily looking on the back.
The sneaky
protein bars can be like that as well. You know, you see the word protein, you buy them. Some of them have got more sugar and other stuff in that you wouldn't want than others.
You'll find out which ones are the good ones because they're labelled with what's in them on the front.
Pretty much, yeah. And we're going to touch on that in a second when we start looking at food labels. The ones that aren't singing and dancing about how healthy they are probably not doing so for a reason. So it's worth looking out for and knowing where to dig. Just to finish up on this slide, same again, anyone can come back to it if they need to. Carbohydrates, I know we've said, are sort of like a fuel source for the body, and is going to be what your body tends to go to first, unless you're in like a state of ketosis, whereas your body is much more better at burning fat for energy. But of course, you need to be low on carbs and carbohydrates and sugars to sort of flick over into this sort of energy source. But every cell in your body relies on glucose at the end of the day, and that's essentially what carbohydrates go on to be. So carbohydrates provide fuel in the form of glucose, so your cells can carry out their jobs. Don't know where that last word's gone. But yeah, so your cells can carry out the function that they're there to do.
Carry out there. That's it. That's all we've got.
To carry out there, and just keep you guessing. I like the suspense.
Carry out the something. Something
else. I'm just gonna shot a message back to Sue now. So we're 10 o'clock on a Monday morning, and it's all Zoom. It's all Zoom link in the minute, so everyone can do it from home safe. All I do on a Monday morning, I just send a link out, and then anybody can just jump on. And like I say, we're going through sort of taking care of yourself during lockdown, how we're coping, how things are going through that end, because obviously I'm Durham way, so it's sort of interesting to see how sort of areas are different and coping different. And then, looking at the food side of things, not only educating on sort of the roles of food and what we need, and looking into things a little bit more, but sort of helping you track and get used to eating a little bit healthier as well. So yeah, by all means, drop us a shout if you do want us to send the link over on Monday morning. Yeah. And then yeah, it's just click a Zoom link. And if you're not sure on Zoom, let me know, and I'll sort out just giving you a little run through as best I can.
Yeah. It's so Gary's saying there he's seen some protein bread, which I actually have seen before, and I don't know how to get more protein in it, but they do something.
Protein bread, I'd love to see it. You know,
you get protein water as well.
Protein water, it's crazy, isn't it?
I actually have had some before. I think I've seen it again in like Home Bargains or something on offer, and I thought I'll try some protein water. Like, what have I got to lose?
Why not? Yeah.
It's just whey protein, so it's the extract of protein from milk and just add it to water. But instead, it's not like in a powder form, so it doesn't look any different than just like a bit of juice.
Oh, okay.
Really.
Okay. But you'll find that all of these products are a load more expensive as well.
Yeah. I mean,
do you know what I mean? So the extra that you pay.
Barrett, which I used to work there, so I know it's quite pricey.
Yeah. To say that you can maybe go out and eat an egg and get as much protein
12 grams of protein in water I can see the appeal.
yeah, definitely. I mean, mate, it might be dangerous telling you this, but you can get protein coffee.
Yeah, I know. I do know. Yeah.
You look like Phil Heath next time I see you.
Eddie Hall ain't coming, I think.
Yeah, that's it.
Hopefully. Anyway.
But all of this protein stuff. Same again. It tends to be just slightly more protein than the original, and a load more expensive than the original. So if we can get protein in elsewhere, simple foods, you know, no.
Or like you say though, low fat, quote unquote low fat, and then you look at it and it's like, but it's got like, it might be a 60 gram like flapjack or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's low fat, and then you look at the sugar and it's like 45 grams of sugar, and it's like, right, okay then.
Low fat, but there's enough sugar in there to make me diabetic, in one sitting. Yeah.
Teeth will just dissolve as soon as I bite into it. Like, it's not great.
Yeah.
So just it's worth having a look, especially with health products. I always I find ones that I know are good and I'll buy a bunch of them.
yeah. Like you say, always be skeptical, because they want you to buy whatever they're trying to sell, you know, at the end of the day. And whatever song they sing, and you might not be wanting to dance to, you know.
I'd imagine
no, so let's start breaking these food labels down then a little bit, buddy. So if we can go on to the next slide, it's just potentially, you've seen this before. This might be your first look at it. It's kind of like the traffic code chart that we use to just sort of get an idea what is high in something, what is sort of low in something. You know, legally for something to be called low fat, there's got to be sort of criteria for that. Otherwise, everything would just have low fat slapped on the side of it, regardless. And this is really handy to sort of keep track of that. I've actually got this printed off and on the fridge, just so like, as much as I've seen it and as much as I've looked at it, it's just handy to go, right, this is this. I can compare it to that. Oh, that's no good. That's not something that I want, you know. You can screenshot it on your phone. You can give it a little print out and keep it in your wallet, your purse, your handbag, whatever it is, even just your pocket, and just use it in the shop. Do you know what I mean? Depends how you feel about taking that little bit longer in the shops and stuff like that. But I mean, you can even look online at certain products that you're going to get, because I know that we're all cautious about trying to get in and out of shops at the minute, you know, rather than standing there and dithering for ages. Do I want the protein cereal? Do I want the regular cereal? So just don't necessarily memorize it. Just have it somewhere where it's handy to you. And of course, it'll be available on this PowerPoint as well if you do need it to come back to. So we can see there that sort of everything is per 100 grams if we look on that left-hand column. So that is going to be on the back of all foods, because that's legal requirement now. So when you're looking, make sure that you're not looking at per serving or per packet or something like that. Try and use the per 100 grams column. Certainly if you're going to be using this chart. So we can see that per 100 grams, anything over 15 grams of sugar is considered high sugar. Yeah. So there'll be, once you start to sort of look at things with that approach, there'll be a lot of stuff that's quite high sugar that you didn't realize would be, you know. I think looking down at medium between 5 and 15 grams, that's quite a big sort of, that's quite a big scope. You know, something can have 6 grams of sugar per 100 grams, or 14 grams of sugar per 100 grams and still be medium, you know. So these colours can be really handy.
Yeah.
But of course there is still fluctuation in there as well. Now I think Heinz beans, baked beans, used to sit in there somewhere around about the 10, 11, 12 mark. And they've changed it recently to under 5 grams, so they can put on the side of their tin low in sugar. You know, they can put on the little color chart. They can get a couple of greens on the side of their tin. You know, which people who are looking to make healthier food choices are looking for. So again, these colors in a way have, and this chart in a way has kind of pushed companies into being more honest or being more conscious of these things. You know, because like we'll get a look at later on, stuff that doesn't fall into low, stuff that tends to fall into high will not have the color on. Do you know what I mean? Because that immediately says, or people see red and they get worried. And you know, it's sort of like a standoffish sort of thing, especially if you know that means bad when it comes to these food labels. So they'll go the other way with it. They'll just put no color at all. They'll put the information, but there'll be no color at all, and it's a little bit vague.
Just let you work out.
Yeah, if companies can put green, they will. If green isn't there, it's there for a reason, you know. And you can use this chart to see why. So looking at fat, same again, per 100 grams, we can say that anything over 20 grams of fat per 100 grams would be considered high. You know, again, being aware that there are good fats and bad fats. That's why we've got the saturated column there as well. Per 100 grams, anything over 5 grams of saturated fat is high, you know, and should be avoided or taken in moderation, you know. A treat rather than something that you're having regular, because it's those saturated fats that can sort of clog arteries and cause problems with hearts and stuff like that. So same again, just be aware of saturated fat as opposed to regular fat. And then for salt, you know, we were saying that maybe 6 grams a day. Anything over 1.5 grams per 100 grams is going to be considered high. You know, something needs to be under 0.3 grams per 100 grams to be considered low salt. You know, so it tells you just how little salt we do kind of actually need, especially from our diet. This can be really, really useful tool, just sort of for checking foods, either once you've got them home before you're buying them or in the shop. And certainly as you're tracking them as well, you know, if you are going to be tracking. So if we can go on to the next slide, buddy.
Yeah. Fruit and fiber.
Fruit and fiber. Yeah. So we can see fruit and fiber. The name is literally 2 things that we're told that we need. You know, Kellogg's is a household brand. You know, you think to yourself that sort of they've got the public's trust. You know, to an extent. You know, they've been around a long time. They're not this new name. People aren't going to be as skeptical of them. And of course you've got the imagery on the box, which is showing all fruit and like you say, sort of like bran flakes and stuff like that, which is all going to be good for you. So why haven't they taken the opportunity? You can see on the box, bottom left hand corner, and we've got it a little bit bigger up in the top right, their nutritional information isn't color coded. You know, so you'd think that if it was that healthy and they were trying to sell it as a health product, they, like Gary says there, they swear down it's good for you. You know, they try and sell it to you as something that you need and is going to be a healthy choice. Whereas, okay, so if I flick back to that last chart, we can see that. So per 100 grams of sugars, we can see for fruit and fiber is 24 grams. Yeah. So that is nearly 10 grams over the high bracket. You know, we need 15 grams to be considered high in sugar, and we've got 25 per 100 grams in this so-called healthy breakfast cereal. Yeah. So it's almost like, so if you're eating 100 grams and nearly 25 grams of that is sugar, almost a quarter of that breakfast cereal is sugar. You know, and that is to say that you can look on the right hand side, and again that'll tell you per 40 gram serving. Obviously the math still translates from the 100 grams, but 40 gram serving, who even weighs out a breakfast cereal? You know, you're much too likely to just chuck it in. Hopefully you're not one of these people who chucks the milk in and then adds the cereal afterwards. You know, it's a cereal first and a milk jobby. But yeah, who weighs it out? Who weighs it out? You know, it'd be far too easy to have double that. You know, you might have an 80 gram serving. and then you're getting twice the sugar. And at the same time, you're convincing yourself that you're eating healthy. You know, I know that the sugar is the worst in fruit and fiber. So with fat, saturated fat, saturated 3.5. So even that is falling into a medium bracket. You know, it can't even say that it's low in saturated fat. And these are saturated fats that are unhealthy fats, you know, fats that we don't need and don't necessarily want, and that we need in moderation. And like I say, this is something that someone might talk themselves into having every morning, you know, as like a good choice of the day. You know, yeah, you're going to feel good and energized. It's chocolate full of sugar. You know,
for a little while, for about 10 minutes.
Yeah. And like, then you get to lunchtime and you've got that lunchtime flop and you're feeling low and you're feeling lethargic. And then you maybe go out for dinner and grab something that's same again, full of sugar, that's just going to spike you up to get through the rest of the work day.
Yeah.
Then you get home and you feel rubbish again, and you've got to stand there and maybe cook for yourself, cook for the kids, get the kids in, you know, sort yourself out, and you might end up just grabbing something easy for tea. Again, something that's just going to get you through to the end of the day. And then really your food's been secondary all day long.
Yeah.
You know, and it's been reactive to the way you're feeling rather than just eating because it's what your body needs.
Yeah. That's great.
Where are we with salt on that one? So salt, we've got 1 gram. So salt again falls into the medium bracket, you know. So just out of curiosity, fat by itself, 20 grams, fat by itself, 6. So even that falls. So nowhere on this breakfast cereal would they be able to put a green label.
No, so they're just not bothered.
No, well, and that's exactly it. So if you see something, especially something that's shouting about being a health product, then it should have these things on. You know, or at least the transparency with the consumer to say, look, yeah, we're good in these areas, not so good in the other areas, make an informed choice. What they're trying to take away from you is the ability to make an informed choice and just believe kind of what they're telling you. And what Gary says, yeah, you've just got to trust them.
Yeah.
You know?
Just take the word for it, man. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine, yeah.
Solid green, you'll be okay.
But it's like, it would make sense, wouldn't it? You know, if you could put green on there, you'd think that you would. Okay, so we'll roll on to the next slide then, buddy. So we've got some Royster's chips there to look at, bubble crisps, pretty much.
Yeah.
So same again, we can see that sort of on the packet, there's nothing color coded or anything like that. I mean, when it comes to crisps, we expect them to be a little bit more unhealthy. And these are probably ones that you'd say bubble chips. They're not the worst. But there's definitely better options out there, certainly for the nutrients that you're going to be getting. So we've got the chart on there, so we can see sugar per 100 grams. Sugar, we've got 0.8. Sugar's quite low. You'd expect that from your crisps.
Yeah.
Who goes to a bag of crisps for a sugar fix? Fat, we've got per 100 grams, we've got 32. Yeah, so we've got 32 grams of fat per 100 grams. So you're talking well over an extra 50% over the high bracket for fat.
Yeah.
And saturated fats, we're on 3.1, so could be worse.
It's not so bad.
Could be worse, do you know what I mean? But is that looks not so bad in comparison to fat?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Is that a case of, right, the last one was red, this one's orange? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But same again. It's handy to be aware of where these brackets lie, because for all you know, if it was orange, you know, that could be anywhere between 1.6 grams and it could be 4.9, you know, so that's more than double in itself. So yeah, just being aware of that as well. So salt for these over 1.5, we've got 1.8. So yeah, high in salt. I mean, it's kind of, you would expect that from crisps. But again, a reason why I've not put it on there, because it's high. It's too high for what we need.
Yeah.
How easy is it to do 2 bags of chips, 2 bags of crisps in one go?
Very.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you've got a multi-pack or something like that, yeah. Especially with all the air that they chuck in them now, you get half.
They've only got 113 calories in a bag as well, which always seems like, okay, I can probably have 2 or 3 of these.
Well, yeah, it does. It's like, yeah, I'm not even having as many calories as a meal.
Yeah.
But you think, yeah, but with a meal, you're going to be having hopefully protein and a good source of protein.
Yeah.
Carbohydrates and a good source of carbs, and the same with fats as well, you know. So same again, like not all calories are created equal, and kind of from a weight loss and a weight gain point of view, yes, you can kind of go with if it fits your macros approach. In terms of nutrition and health and feeling good, that's not necessarily a guaranteed way to do it.
It's about you can't have everything. No one's gonna have a perfect run at everything, because you'll be miserable.
Exactly.
If it's your way of doing it is like, you're doing calories in, calories out, and you want to have 2 bags of crisps, have 2 bags of crisps. Well, you can take it out somewhere else, and that can be the start. And then look, okay, right, I'm not getting enough of this. I'm going to work my supplements in.
Exactly, yeah. I always start with calories. People have always said to us, "Oh, look, Rob, I need a diet plan. Like, how much protein do I need? What carbs do I need? How much fat do I need?"
Relax.
I'll say, aim for it. Yeah, just chill. That's the end goal.
Yeah.
That's the end goal when it comes to getting your diet set up. You want to know, you want your calories to work for first. In fact, first of all, you want to know how many calories your body's used to.
Yeah.
Like we were saying earlier on, if you have a drastic change, you're not going to necessarily get the results that you want, because you're going to throw your body into shock a little bit. You've got to make it gradual,
Yeah.
So like you say, buddy, that is a good point, rather than trying to jump straight to the end goal. You can say to yourself, right, I'm going to work on calories. Okay, the weight's coming down the weight's going the direction I want it to. I don't necessarily feel great in myself, or I feel like I could be more optimal. Where do I make changes from here? And that is why we're trying to go 1 week at a time, just try and put something new into place, and have a week or so just to get used to that. And then you can move on to something else. And the original thing you're going to maintain, but it's going to feel easier because you've had a week or so's practice.
Yeah.
And it might take longer, we all move at our own pace. Get one thing under your belt, get it nailed, get it feeling normal and sort of second nature, and just go from there. It can't all be done in one. Rome wasn't built in a day, so they say, don't they?
Not.
Right, buddy, let's roll on to the next slide then. We've got some pop chips to look at. So pop chips, generally marketed as a healthier sort of crisp. So they're produced in a different way, they're processed in a different way. And I mean, even the color on the packet, it's green. It's almost sort of shouting healthy to you, or trying to shout healthy.
Yeah.
When at the same time, once again, we've got the nutritional information there, but no color code, nothing to say, yes, this is actually low in this or whatever, So, if we were, again, you use that chart and look at sugar. So remember, we always want to be using the per 100 grams column.
Yeah.
Per 100 grams sugar, we've got 4 grams. So we are we're in the low, but that's probably still more sugar than you would expect from crisps, I think.
Yeah, but it's always the flavour, isn't it? It's always like
it is, yeah.
It's like same with sauces. Like if you have like chili sauce or like barbecue sauce or whatever, it's always a lot of the time it's packed full of sugar. It's because it's how they make the flavour. Sauces,
yeah, Dolmio sauces have got quite a lot of sugar in as well. But and I think I was mentioning to you before, actually, buddy, when I went to Costco before, and they were giving out these samples.
Yeah.
And there was these crisps that were dried up mushrooms, and I was like, oh, okay then, like, I'll give one of these a go.
Yeah.
And there was that much on it. It didn't taste like a mushroom at all.
It would just be like a crunchy mess.
It pretty much was. It was a crunchy mushroom covered in. It was a dried mushroom, pretty much covered in salt and spices to make it taste a certain way, to the point where you've put that much on it. When I actually pulled up the nutritional info, it was no better off than a lot of other options out there, And mate, I tell you, it was not even Dorito size bag, mate. It was about £6 a bag.
Yeah, I'm not
surprised. £6 a bag for these mushrooms, and there was just as much on them. More sugar than these pop chips. Yeah. Certainly more sugar than you would get from like a Walker's. And yeah, it's lower in fat, but again, you've got to look at preservatives and additives and stuff like that as well, and it just defeats the purpose, really.
They've all got like some weird acid and God knows what else. They put things like natural flavourings down. I'm like, what does that mean?
Well, exactly, yeah. We actually did that on in drop-in, I think it was last week, and we went through sort of some of the terms that you're going to see on food labels. Be it natural, be it organic, and what does that actually mean, and what people that are putting that on their products are actually obligated to do on their end, to actually fit into that criteria. So anything we use in the drop-ins as well, I've got like a shared group, and I've got like a shared Google Drive.
Okay.
So if you're interested, or if there's anybody who's interested in anything that we've already done, in our drop-ins, by all means, give us a shout. I'll send you the link, and you can just look through and see and see what's in there, and see if there's anything that's gonna maybe answer a few questions for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But that's all there anyway. Because that was one that got me thinking. Sort of like,
what does that
there's
mean?
obviously, we know what it needs to be for low fat or for high sugar or whatever it's going to be. But when you see something says natural, what does that even mean? Because we were looking at sort of like Fruit Loops and stuff like that, stuff that's just chock full of E numbers, and you can tell it's going to be, like those bright, vivid colors don't necessarily exist in nature, purely.
Yeah.
So where are they coming from and what process are they going through? But that was quite an interesting little morning, that, looking through some of that. If there is anything in there that you think you might want to have a look through, give me a shout and I'll get that over for you. Right, where were we with fat with these? So per 100 grams, again, we've got fat 17 grams. So it's in the medium, but it's knocking on towards being high. Yeah. So again, you just got to look at the difference, or sort of like the margin that there is in the medium on that fat, anywhere between 3 and 20. So again, it could be 19 grams of fat, and classify as medium. So kind of like BMI. Do you know what I mean? But BMI in the sense of, like, you can be one minute you are a healthy weight, and then you put a pound on, and all of a sudden you're obese.
Yeah.
It's like, well, there's more to it than that, It's not just black and white. It's not just boxes. It's just trying to be aware of all of that as well. So, like I said, it's handy to have it with you, but even if there's colours there, it's nice to have this to refer back to and see just where in those brackets that your food actually fits.
Yeah.
Saturated fat, we had 2 grams. So same again, that's fitting in the middle again. And then we've got salt, which is 0.3. So they could, borderline. So what was that? So that was sugar and salt that fit into low. Sugar was just about, and the other two are medium as well again. So again, it might be a case of, they could put green on 2, but if you put green on 2, you've got to put orange on the others, which might put some people off. So they just leave it off, and people will go, pop chips, they're meant to be loads better than regular crisps. I'll get these. And then again, like you say, buddy, like, you think they're healthier, you'll do 3 packets. Do you know what I mean? Or you'll sit and do a big share bag, whereas you might have been better off having the unhealthier version and just being aware of that and holding yourself to it. Like, okay, 1 bag. Do you know what I mean? At least you know at least you're aware of the damage that you're doing, rather than sitting at home thinking you're eating a healthy option, getting away some of your cravings in the afternoon that might want you craving fatty foods, when really you're having foods that's higher in fat anyway.
Yeah.
And maybe going to excess to get the calories in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worth thinking about.
Well, yeah, definitely. And like I say, even just having it handy somewhere in the kitchen that you can see. Like you say, it's not even a case of saying, like, it's too late once you get it home, like, because you've already bought it, because it's not. It's just a case of knowing where it fits into your day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you can look at it in the fridge, and now you're home, you've got the time, you've got your chart, you're ready to go, you'll be like, right, that's quite high in that. I'll fit it in on a day where I've had less of that throughout the day, and it just gives you a little bit more flexibility.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. So then we've got the last slide that we've got, I actually put on there just so we can sort of see the colour chart in action. Sometimes it'll be the full the full bubble will be coloured in. Sometimes it'll just be sort of like the little bottom section coloured in. But that is it. And that do you know what? For the product that it is, it's quite honest of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To say, do you know what? We're high in fat, but at the same time, it works the other way around as well. Something that people might look at and go, wow, that's got to be unhealthy. If they can put on and say that they've got 1 green and 2 oranges and maybe there's only 1 red, it's like, that's maybe not as bad as I thought.
But
so it's all marketing.
Yeah.
It's all marketing, that's all still, it's manipulating your perspective. It doesn't make it any healthier.
No.
It's just manipulating your take and your opinion on the product,
Sometimes as well, they do, like, that's each pack, that one. Sometimes they'll do per serving. And the serving's half, but it's something that you would never half. Like when you buy one of the microwave packets of rice is the one that I always get caught. Well, not caught with. It's the one I always have to double the number. Because the microwave packet of rice is about probably that tall and like that thick. It's one serving. Like
that's it. It's all right, maybe as a side with something.
Yeah.
But even then, it's a little bit like, I could have done with some more of that. But as a meal, if you were doing like just a rice-based dish or something like that, there's no way that's one serving.
No.
There's just not. And like there's a lot of stuff out there as well. So as well as breaking down the nutritional info, it's handy to just familiarize yourself with where it says how many servings are in the packet, you know, so you know how to divide things.
Oven pizzas, they're like based on half a pizza, and I'm like, there's no way I'm eating half this pizza. Like, there's just not a chance. I'm eating the whole thing.
Well, that's it, you know. And even when it comes to stuff like spreads and sauces and stuff like that, like you don't necessarily want to have to weigh everything out, you know, because it can get quite tedious. But I mean, just using serving sizes. And I was speaking to like a client before, and they were saying, I get through quite a lot of mayonnaise, but I don't know if it's too much. I'm like, well, look on the back.
Probably is.
Yeah. See how many servings are in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it says that there should be 10 servings, how long does the jar last you? Is it lasting 5 days?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or is it lasting 10 days? Is it lasting 20? And that'll give you an idea of how much you're actually having.
Yeah.
Just sort of being familiar with the serving sizes as well, you know. Because stuff like that is harder to measure out. Stuff like a pizza, do you know what I mean? It might say like a serving is a quarter.
Yeah.
You can easily work that out with a pizza, but other stuff's a little bit harder to sort of work out, I
tend to stick to stuff that is quite easy, like I say, that I can just scan in and say, okay, I had half that, or I had a quarter of that packet of mint, or I had half that packet of meatballs, or whatever it is, and then it's easy, it's done.
And that's it, and like you say, putting together your own meals and stuff like that are always going to be there when you need to, or when you either like need a meal that's going to give you a certain amount, you know, you've got to go to a meal that, you know, right, that's this many calories, or even just having them already logged, so you can say like, right, that meal I've had a couple of nights this week, I'll put it there and there, you know.
Do you know what I found quite useful? Instead of weighing stuff, like when you're weighing stuff out, like if you just Google whatever it is and then calories, it gives you like a rough idea of the calories on Google, like built into Google. So I'll show you. So I just Googled sweet potato there.
Okay.
And it tells you the calories per 100 grams, but if you scroll down a little bit, it's got the amount of everything else in it. Now, obviously, this is a complete, like, it's an estimate based on your average sweet potato. But it tells you, like, your fat, your cholesterol, sodium, potassium, carbohydrates, protein, and then the vitamins in it as well. If you try to work out this is a really good, like, guide. So it tells you the source there. So the source is the FDC, which is like the Department of Agriculture in America. So like, it's their job to know what's in food. Food Data Central is an integrated data system that provides expanded nutrient profile data and links to related agricultural and experimental research. So that's the source of who gives Google that information. Basically, they're a proper regulator. And they provide this information. I found it really useful, so that I'd weighed stuff out, but I didn't necessarily have the label of the thing I did, or I bought it from like the butchers or something, for example, or I've got the fruit and veg shop and I've bought sweet potatoes.
Yes, I'm with you.
It's not labelled, like there's no way to know.
Yeah,
I found this really useful for like it's an estimate, so you'll never be 100% accurate. You might have like a super potato that's got like all the vitamins in it.
Yeah. From a nutritional point of view, you're better off estimating with foods that you've bought. Maybe they don't have barcodes on, to be honest, you know, because there's a big argument that a lot of the foods that we should be eating don't necessarily come with barcodes on. We should be making those meals ourselves. But that is a really handy tool, being able to scan that in. But you are going to have meals, and when you're making your own meals, you're going to be like, right, I've got 100 grams of chicken in this meal. I can't scan that. So where do you go from there? So something like that, being able to pull that information down and just use that a little bit, because I mean, if you're having regular food, you can. I think we've done it as well a while ago. Knock up a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can even just say, look, right, chicken per 100 grams, and then you know that every time you have a chicken meal, you can come back to that.
So it literally just whatever the food is, and put calories after it, and it'll give you it per 100 grams there. So chicken, for example, per 100 grams has roughly 239 calories in it, and roughly 27 grams of protein in it.
Cool.
I'd imagine you could probably break that down into like chicken breast, if you can spell breast right.
That's it. Yeah, there'll be difference, I imagine, between.
So then it'll tell you how much. So 31 grams of protein in, which is higher amount of protein in.
Well, yeah, which is why weightlifters, bodybuilders, stuff like that, they do eat so much chicken.
Yeah.
Is to get the protein in. Now a lot of us don't get as much protein as we need.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it gives you other suggestions and stuff along the bottom. Do you want us to give them? I can quickly try and link my phone up if you want, and just
might as well, buddy. Actually, I think that was the last slide. Actually, before we move on to the old fitness video.
I'll see if I can.
And if we can just get a couple of minutes just to pull up that How the Body Works booklet as well, buddy. So we can.
All right, hang on then. So I think I'm mirroring now. I just need to add it as a source. So just give me a second.
Because I'll be a little bit behind.
What's that one there then? It's like super zoomed in for some reason. Let's have a look.
I'd seen that on Zoom when I've been doing the drop-ins. I'd seen the option to like add phone or share from phone. I was like, I'm staying away from that. Like
this one's slightly different. I don't know why it's like having a bit of a meh, to be honest. I wonder, do I need to just drag that onto this screen? Yes, I do. That's exactly what I need to do. Okay, I'm gonna turn that off. Doing this on the fly, which is why it's a little bit low. So there you go. So there's the MyFitnessPal app. So you should be able to see it on yours now, Rob, if you've got it open. If not, you know what it looks like.
It's not there yet, but I think I'm a little bit behind.
Yeah. So just to give you guys a quick rundown of what I was talking about. So you literally on the bottom there's the plus symbol. So you'll see on the very bottom there's this plus symbol. Yeah, when I press it, it brings up all these options of what you can add. If you click add food. I clicked off it. If you click add food, it gives you your meals for the day. So you got breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. That's like I constantly get confused because I end up adding me dinner, which would be your tea, as what I've had at 12 o'clock, and I'm like, hang on, I haven't had, and it starts sending notifications saying you haven't logged your lunch and stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I put it in the wrong place.
Yeah, if you went for lunch, so today I've got soup, and I think from the other day. I scanned this in. So I've got bacon and lentil soup. And I know the name of it, so it's Covent Garden, I think.
Because like you say, there's a database, isn't there? And there'll be like a lot of foods that people have already uploaded will be there.
Yeah.
So brands and stuff like that you'll probably be able to find.
And so the ones with the green tick. So you see that wholemeal Warburton slice that's at the top of mine now. You might see it in a couple of seconds, Rob. That's got a little green tick next to it. That means that information is it's like legitimate. So it's been added by them, basically, or approved by them.
Verified. Yeah.
If you search for certain ones, some of the Greg's stuff's on there as well. So Greg's porridge 1 cup, gingerbread man from Greg's, custard slice, Belgian bun. Margarita pizza, steak bake, that's also they've all got ticks next to them, so they're verified. So if you had gone to Greg's and had a steak bake, you can see what's in it. It's got 410 calories, 28 grams of carbs, 26 grams of fat, 14 grams of protein in it.
Yeah.
And then if you just to add it to your day, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to knock mine up. You would tick it in the top right. So that tick in the top right there would add it to your day. And then if you go back to the main screen, if you want to see, we'll go to yesterday. Actually, I'll do yesterday. And as you can see at the top there, I'm 697 calories over what I should have been yesterday. Based on the goal that I'd set, by the way. So you can set a goal as well on what you want.
And then that might be something that you can take and say, okay, I was a little bit over yesterday, I'll be a little bit under today, sort of thing.
What's nice about this is you can link it to like a Fitbit or a Garmin watch or even just your phone's health. So my phone tracks my steps, not particularly well, but it tracks them. So if I scroll down, you see exercise there. I've got
so it's kind
iPhone calorie adjustment. It takes your steps and takes some calories off based on how many steps it thinks you've done.
Yeah, so you end up actually having room for more calories anyway.
I tracked the 10-minute workout that I did yesterday as well as cardio. And it took the calories from that app and brought them into here to subtract them from the food, which was quite good.
That is handy. Being able to sync them up and stuff like that.
And if you scroll down to the bottom after I've tracked all my stuff, if I press nutrition, It gives me all these weird bar charts that are quite hard to look at, to be honest.
Yeah.
But this is a percentage of your total calories. So I only had 4% of my calories for breakfast. I had 31% in snacks. But that was eating things like peanuts and like a random size of cheese and stuff. So
yeah.
But you can go to nutrients and it gives you a breakdown of what you've got. So I had probably far too much fat yesterday, it's telling us. I had quite a lot of vitamin C. I didn't have much I had no grams of trans fat, actually.
Happy days, mate. Well in.
I had quite a bit of saturated fat. And then you can click on the macros on the top as well, and it gives you a breakdown of like a pie chart of what you had between carbs, fat and protein as well.
Yeah. So it's really handy to just sort of put what you're eating into sort of like a visual sense for you to come back and like I say, just sort of reflect on.
So my goal yesterday was 200 grams of protein on training days. That's what I'm aiming for at the minute, because like we were talking about I think last week when you were saying it's hard to build muscle when you're doing high reps. So me personal trainer was saying just go high protein. Don't worry about anything else for now. Just keep on your training days, go high protein, and then if you're massively overindulging, make sure the days you're resting you're not taking on loads of carbs. You need to fuel your workouts and only your workout. Don't overfuel yourself on days you're resting.
You don't need a load of carbs to sit around. Yeah. Especially now we know why we have carbs and with them being a fuel source and stuff like that. If you're not needing that extra fuel, like you say, aim for something a little bit higher in protein or fat. So
you can see there, 49% of the food I had yesterday was fat, which probably, to be honest, isn't good. So again, but I knew that through the day when I was logging everything I ate. I was like, you've knocked it here, like you've got.
But it's calories, isn't it? Like you were saying, like when we started, it's a way of getting calories and hitting protein.
Yeah.
Because I know you're saying you don't want to be too big and you want to be healthy and stuff like that as well, but you don't want to fall shy of what you're doing, like your PT says, you're better off going a little bit over and just trying to compensate maybe on days where you're not training.
Yeah.
Rather than having a day where you don't get as many calories as you need and don't get as much protein as you need, because that's the first two things I work on with somebody. It'll be hit your calories and then hit your protein, and if you're getting those two, it's hard to go wrong elsewhere.
Yeah.
So it really is hard to go wrong elsewhere because the protein's going to fill you up. Do you know what I mean?
It really does.
You eat 2,000 calories for the day worth of steak and broccoli, and you'll not be able to move.
Nope.
Whereas, like you say, you could do a McDonald's breakfast and McDonald's at tea time, and you're on 2,500, 3,000 before like you've really started to fill up at all.
Yeah, and you're hungry, and you're tired, and you haven't got any nutrients, and you just feel bad.
Yeah. So if you are sort of tracking your calories and you're limiting yourself to 2,000 a day or whatever it is, and you're going to bed starving, think about where those calories are going a little bit more as well. Make sure that you're actually like satiating yourself, satisfied.
That's a really good point, and that can help you work towards your goals. So if you come into more, if you're at home on the app, if you come into more and you go to this goals one here, it's got your starting weight, your current weight, and your goal weight, and that can go up or down. So that they've factored in both. They've got a weekly goal. So I had it set. This is massively out of date. I need to change it really. It was weekly goal was to gain 0.2 kilograms a week.
Okay.
And then ask you how active you are as well. So you put in your current weight, your goal weight, and your weekly goal, and then it works out what you need and you can set the amount you want. So you can come into nutrition goals, calorie, carbs, protein, and fat goals, and you can set, okay, I want this many calories, and I want 45% of them to be carbohydrates. And work it out up to 100% split, and then it'll tell you whether you're hitting that goal or not. That's more complicated. For what I use it for at the minute, to be honest, is just to see what I've eaten and see what number I'm on.
That's what all I've ever used it for, and ever encourage people to use it for. Really, like the rest of it could be quite handy to sort of look into once you've got
an understanding, sort
of the hand of everything else, and you know what's what. But it's more like out of interest than anything else to just be able to look and say, okay, that's cool, that's cool. That's optimizing stuff, isn't it, buddy? Like you say, like that's not step one. That might be step 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, depending on you as an individual.
Definitely.
But just linking that back into some of the other sessions that we've done where we look at body types and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And different body types. Different body types respond differently to different, what we call, what Haytham's just describing there is a macronutrient split. So different body types work better with different percentages. You know, someone like myself who's an ectomorph can get away with getting 50% of my calories from carbohydrates for the day.
Yeah.
You know, whereas somebody like an Eddie Hall or somebody like that is going to put fat on a little bit easier. You know, doesn't need as many carbohydrates, needs more protein.
Yeah.
And needs more fats.
Mind you, he's
got to get the calories in to maintain himself.
Nick recently because he's training to have that boxing fight. So
yes, he is.
He's sort of at the minute having a bit of a slim, like a sort of cutting phase where he's trying to reduce his body fat and get more toned and have more muscular endurance. So it's a bit of a funny one at the minute for him, I think. Yeah,
that's it, and that's a really good point in that kind of emphasizes that fitness. Your definition of fitness is different depending on what you need to be fit for, I guess.
Yeah.
And your food kind of needs to change to represent that. Yeah. You know.
And that doesn't necessarily mean not eating, because like boxers and stuff, even though they probably weigh like less than me now, will still consume probably more calories than I do right now because they need it. They need the recovery.
Mm-hmm.
They're using
not to mention
they're burning it every day.
4, 5, 6 hours training every day. Yeah, you do go through it. So there is a disconnect between the word fit and healthy.
Yeah.
You know, fit is literally like fit for purpose.
Yeah.
What you need to be fit for is going to determine whether you're fit or not. You know what I mean? Like when a footballer comes back onto the pitch after an injury, they'll say, "Oh, he's not match fit."
Yeah.
Do you know what? Or they might say he's not match fit. Is he fitter than Joe Public? Probably.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, you know. Is he fit for what he needs to do? No,
Nope.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
And we all need, regardless what our idea of fitness is, we all need to do our best to be healthy within that as well, you know, which is where the vitamins and the nutrients and stuff come from, and making sure that we're getting good sources of our macronutrients and being aware of some of the unhealthier sources and just limiting them. You know, it's never about eliminating and totally getting rid of. If anything, this sort of thing is just so we can learn how to enjoy these things, like in a controlled way. Do you know what I mean? I think anyone who's sort of eaten, like we say, the ridiculously clean, the bro bowl, like the chicken, the rice, the broccoli, all day, every day, it's probably through fear of eating the wrong stuff or not understanding how to fit the stuff in that they might really want, you know?
Yeah.
So, like I said, we all have different ideas of fitness. We all have different ideas of health, but it all stems from being aware of what you're eating and just controlling it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, thank you for that look at My Fitness Pal anyway, buddy. So it's really it's a really good tool for someone who, like I say, you don't want to have to write everything down and then go and research what's in this. You can literally scan the barcode, it adds it, and then you're on with the rest of your day, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh, that was the one thing I didn't show you, but when you're adding the food, you click scan barcode and it's got such a good like database of stuff. If you buy stuff from like the main supermarkets or like recognized product, and like I said, even like things like Lidl's own brands and as there's like small price stuffs in there, like
they're all on there, like
comprehensive. Really good. So just quickly, because I don't want to forget to do it, what pages are the guys completing in the workbook following today?
So today's is the last one in this workbook, and this should be the workbook done. I think it's 9, 10, and 11. So
is it starting from 3.1? Is it?
I'll pull it up on my end, buddy. So.
Because you've got that was the heart quiz.
Yeah,
and the lungs
last
quiz
week we did the heart. Yeah, and the lungs. So we are activity 6, 3.1. Yeah.
So activity 6 there of stuff that you just have to match into the right boxes.
Yeah. So pretty much, looking at what we've done today, trying to break down the foods that you might see or might eat into some of the groups that we've talked about, you know, be it say sort of animal products that are going to be quite high in protein, you know, dairies and the likes that might be quite high in fats. I know we've talked about like nuts and avocados and stuff like that being quite high in fat as well.
Yeah.
And then of course the vitamins and the minerals as well, you know, because those are just as important. And then it's just typing them into the box. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's activity 6, isn't it, that one?
Yeah, that's activity 6.
And then activity 7 is the one on the next page.
That is just the function of all the groups that we've talked about today. Again, you know, we can always go back. Hi, Mel. Mel's just made it in the chat.
Hey Mel.
Yeah. Just everything we've sort of talked about today. If you need to come back and use the slides again, by all means go for it, you know.
There's one more, isn't there?
There is, and there's one more down the bottom. Yeah. And then same again, just in a little bit more detail, saying what's stuck. And then same again, it's everything that we've been through today. You know, anything that you need for that will be in what we've sort of covered today. And as always, just give me a shout. You know, if there's anything that you're struggling with or anything that you're not sure of, let me know, and I'm more than happy to help.
Yeah.
But that should be and is the last page of the How the Body Works booklet, and then that wraps that up. Yeah. So again, if there's anything
that to you when they're done.
Yes, yeah, they will be. Yeah, I mean, potentially even just sort of hold on to it until the whole course is done.
Okay, yeah.
You know, if same again, if there's anything they're not sure of, send it over and I'll have a look. And if there's anything needs changing, obviously I can send it back and we can make those little alterations. But just focus on trying to get this workbook finished up this week. If there's anything that you've maybe missed from last week or the week before, because there was a little bit to do with the skeleton and the heart and the lungs and stuff like that. So yeah, our aim this week is to just get this booklet finished up, and then we've got some other stuff to move on to next week.
Yeah.
So we're actually going
today, isn't there?
There is, yeah. We've got a fitness video as well, so we're going to be testing. We're going to be doing a little bit of resistance training. So what I've done, I've actually used a couple of like soup cans.
Yeah.
So if you've got anything like that hanging around, it doesn't have to be soup cans, you know. But then I was thinking you can use your newfound knowledge from today. Do a bicep curl, read the nutritional information, bicep curl back down, sorted. There we go. So we can actually combine it. Yeah.
Filled up water bottles work quite well.
What's that? Sorry, buddy.
Like if you fill up a water bottle. Work quite well.
Anything like that. I've actually got it down here. Actually, grab it. It's
the 1 gallon water bottles that you can get.
It's the old Lenore, mate. It's the old. Nice. It's the old fabric softener.
Sand as well, actually. If you fill them with, if you've got any like sand lying around in the garden or whatever.
Yeah.
If you fill it with that, that's really heavy. You don't realise how heavy sand is.
Yeah. Water and sand.
Yeah.
Water and sand. You know,
all will do. Get it in there.
Yeah. I think the Ben next door's got a sand pit sorted.
Yeah, that's it. They'll not be playing in that anytime soon, anyway. So.
No, they don't need it till summer.
Winter, man.
But yeah, even just filling something like that with water, that's essentially a kettlebell.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's stuff that we can use. So I've just used, like I say, a couple of tins from the cupboard today. Give it a go. I mean, by all means, try the exercises without any weight first, if you're not so sure.
Yeah.
Give it a go. And of course, if there's any that you get sort of caught up on, give me a shout again, and I'll chuck you an alternative to do over. But that'll do us for this week then, buddy. So
sorry, go on, man.
Go on, mate. No, I was just going to ask about the survey.
Oh yeah, we'll email them out. We're going to email them out for this one because we've got them sorted. But it's I'll add them to the description for when people are watching back. But anyone
yes, of course, cool.
We'll email them directly.
Nice one, bro. Cool. So yeah, just a reminder, pages 9, 10, and 11 in your How the Body Works booklet this week.
Yeah.
And other than that, I'll see everybody next Wednesday, 10 till 12, and we're going to be looking at fitness testing and just some of the different aspects of that. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah, so plenty to look forward to next week. Like I say, give the workout a go. Let us know how you get on, and as always, just reach out if you've got any questions.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop the break screen on while I just put the video on on the other screen and stuff, and make sure it's gonna play properly before I just unleash it on the world. But give me a couple of minutes, guys, and that'll be sorted, and then we'll still be in the chat, just sort of monitoring. Yeah,
maybe just take the time, clear yourself a bit of space if you need to in the house, or grab yourself a drink, and. A couple of minutes, and then me and Hatham will just stay active in the chat and just keep an eye on anything.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, awesome, buddy. Well, thank you very much for your help. Cheers, man.
No bother. Right. 2 seconds.
Hey everyone, welcome back. It's that time again. So some of you might have caught the live stream that we did last week. We were talking about different bits of exercise kit that we might see in the gym. More importantly right now, how we might be able to replace those or find a substitute that's sort of laid around the house. If you didn't catch the live stream, definitely go back and check it out. Our plan for today, rather than going body weight like our last two sessions have been, we're going to add a little bit of resistance just by taking a couple of tins from in the cupboard. Okay, so we'll take a little bit of time to look through all of our exercises before we jump in. Before we do that, let's just get you warmed up. Right guys, to get yourself warmed up, just make sure you've got plenty of space around you. I'm just going to start with a little jog on the spot. Get those arms moving as well. Start bringing that heart rate up a little bit. There we go, change it up, heel kicks. And we've got staying on your toes. All come feet together, jump apart, touch the floor. We're warming them legs up. We're going to come into a walkout, so we're going to go both hands flat on the floor, walk out into plank, bring it back in, keep them legs nice and straight. Go one more, pause at the end, just go into some mountain climbers. Same again, just feeling that heart rate coming up. Just getting everything moving. Okay, cool, warm up done. Should loosen you up a little bit. Grab yourself a couple of tins. We're going to have a look through these exercises. Right, so make sure you got your tins. I'm going to run through each of these exercises, just give you a look at what they're going to be before we get round to doing them. Yeah, so our first one, we're going to do star jump. Nice and simple on the spot, can in each hand. Just get those arms out, yeah? Just adds a little bit of resistance, works them shoulders a little bit harder. There we go. From there, straight into Romanian deadlifts. So what we're going to do, bend your knees. Set the hands just on the outside of your legs. Flat back, and then imagine there's a rope around your waist, pulling you back over. So you push your hips back. Don't bend your legs anymore. Don't need to bend those knees. Keep your bum up high. You should feel that stretch down the back of your legs rather than on your quads like you would with a squat. From there, back up to arms. So we're going to go with a curl and press. So palms facing out over. Bring up the shoulders. Twist and push at the same time. Back down, yeah? Twist, push, twist, back down, side on, up. There we go, curl and press. On the abs, we're going to go leg raise. You can make these as hard as you like. You can either go one tin, up and over, get those abs working. If you're feeling ambitious, go with two to work them legs. There we go, get them flexors and them abs working a little bit harder. From leg raises, we're going to go into a lunge. So you want both hands up at eye level, and we're going to step either forwards or backwards like we do with lunges. And with each one, hold, press. Yeah, alternate legs, both arms press every time. Where your knee nearly touches but not quite. There we go, arms and legs working with that one. Yeah, so back over to abs. We're going to set both hands over to one side and come into a plank alongside. Reach with your opposite arm through. Move your hands across to the other side. Back to plank, swap arms. Keeping those abs nice and tight. Keep that core engaged. Just moving both tins from side to side. There we go, we're getting there. Planks. We'll go into rear flies. Bring your back and the back of your shoulders in a little bit more. Going to come into that same star jump position, can in each hand. Tilting forward, a little bit of a bend at your knees, and then straight out to the side, yeah? Out and back over. Let's get the back of them shoulders, some of those back muscles working as well. There we go, a couple to go. Back to abs. Down onto your bum, lean yourself back. Grab the cam with your foot. Bring it in. legs back out. Take your time, keep that control. Do one with the can, one without. Any problem with them, you can always use your arms and just take that lower back out of the equation. 2 to go, squat push. Nice and simple, both into your chest. You're going to come down into a squat, out, back in and back up. Yeah, so we're down, out, in and up. Legs are working, core's working, arms are working as well. Then our last one, we're going to go with some plank taps, same again, either 1 or 2 high, coming into plank, go elbows and just reaching out, tapping that tin. The further you reach, the harder your abs are going to have to work. There we go, all 10 exercises. Make sure you've got your tins, grab yourself a drink, have a minute and we'll get the first round done. Right guys, so what we're going to do today, we've got 10 exercises and each one of them is going to be utilising 1 or 2 of our tins. Yeah, sometimes we're going to be using it for resistance, sometimes we're working around. Most of them, the tins are just adding a little bit of resistance, so if you find that you're struggling with any of the exercises, take the tin out or whatever it is that we might be doing with the tin and just focus on plenty of control and think about the movement itself and just get that nailed first. So we've got 3 rounds to do. We'll do the longest one first. Each one's going to get a little bit shorter. So our first set, 40 seconds on, 20 seconds rest. Second set is going to be 30 on, 15 rest. And our last one's going to be 20 on, 10 rest. Yeah, so each set's getting shorter. The work time's getting shorter, but so is your rest time as we're going through. Yeah, cool. We're going to have like a minute's rest after each round. Of course, as always, feel free to just give each exercise a go as I'm demonstrating, just so you can get a feel for them now and really push yourself each set when we get around to them. Right, so first round, like I was saying before, first one's going to be our longest. Gives us plenty of time to get used to our exercises and gives you plenty of recovery in between as well. Like I was saying, as them sets come down and the work gets shorter, so does your rest as well. Yeah, so this is the one where you're going to get the most rest. Make the most of it, take your time with each exercise. Like I say, with 40 seconds on, 20 seconds to rest up. Grab your tins, grab a bit of space. I'm going to start with star jumps, 40 seconds. Away we go, just on the spot. See if we get any trouble with any of the exercises, just try dropping the tins out. Last few seconds. There we go, so we've got 20 seconds to rest up. Quick drink if you need one. Get yourself set for this next exercise. So we're going to be a little bit of a bend in your knees, straight back, hands are on the outside of your legs, and we're just going to push your hips back over and feel the pull down the back of your legs. Right, let's go. So into position, knees are bent, push them hips backwards, back stays flat, and come up to the top. There we are, keep them tins in nice and close, don't want them out there, keep them in against the legs, hips are coming back over, and feel that pull right down the back of your hamstrings. So just keep that tension on. Remember, we're not squatting, not bending those knees, just make sure that the arms locked. Last few seconds. See it, stretch them out. Nice one, deadlift's done. So we're going to go arms next, curl and press. So we're going to be biceps in front of your shoulders or your delts. We're going to be hands up your shoulders, twist and push above your head and together, back down and apart, yeah? Right, third exercise. Let's go, so biceps, so we're up, twist and push, twist on the way back down to there. Same again, so we're just hinging at the elbow and then press. See, we're not relying on momentum to swing and rock them weights up. It's all controlled. And there we go, even if you need to take a little bit more time, get the movement down. There we go, a couple more. Nice one. Leg raises next. So we're down onto the floor. One can or two, entirely up to you. We'll go two because it's the first round and I'm feeling optimistic. We're going to go hands under your back. Just take that strain off your lower back. We're going to be feet up and over. So thinking about your breathing. Always deep breaths when we're training your core. And we'll go, if you need to, take a second in between each one. Keep them moving where you can, keep them abs engaged. Just up and over, side to side. Even rest your head if you can. Just make sure you're up and over. And we go halfway. Lunge with overhead press. So like we do with our lunges, whatever feels more comfortable for you, either step backwards into it or step forwards into it. We're going to go both chins up at about shoulder height. We're going to step, we're going to press both together, yeah? So we're going to step, 90 degrees of both knees, push, down, back to start. Swapping legs after each one, thinking about your balance and your control as much as anything, and keeping that rear knee up and off the floor. And again, it's a lot to think about, there's a lot of balancing involved. Any problems, just take the tins out, focus on your balance for them regular lunges. There we go, feel them legs warming up, so we're into plank. We're going to go with a pull across as well, yeah? Take some stability out, pick one hand up, move both tins across to the other side. So you want to be able to reach through with your opposite arm, yeah, rather than this one. Reaching through, pulling across, yeah? There we go, so core tight again, take your time, all about control. Don't forget that breathing either. Think about where you put them, because you've got to go get them as well. There you go, you don't want to be chucking them all the way out there. There we go, nice one, it's harder than it looks. And there, so rear flies, so up to your feet, back to upper body, back to that star jump position, one in each hand. Same again, a little bit of a bend at each knee, chest out and tilt. Tins under your chest, and we're going to come up and out to the side. Up and out, as well as back over. Get the back of them shoulders working, some of them back muscles as well. Same again, nice and controlled, not relying on any bounce to throw them up. It's all coming from your back and your arms. Get that back flat, you don't want to let it start arching over. Chest out, chin up. There we go, getting up nice and high, coming out to the sides. Nice one. Nearly there, nearly there. So abs next. So down to one tin. Wouldn't like to try this with two. Going to come in, hand over, legs back out, keep them up if you can. Come back out. Do one with. Yeah. Right, first set of these. Longest set we're doing as well. 40 seconds. See, nice tight grip. Upper half's just coming back slightly Bring them upper abs in as well. Last few seconds, couple more. There we go, 2 to go, back to legs. Both teams together again. Squatting, pushing, coming back in, coming back to a standing position. So we're going to be down, out, in, and up. Like we do with any squat, keep your weight in your heels, keep your chest up, make sure the knees don't buckle in together. So down, out, in, and back up. So think of it as 4 different movements rather than trying to do it all at once. So we're down, out, in, straight back up. Driving through them heels. There we go, feel them legs working. A couple more. There we go, 1 to go. Plank taps to finish us up. So you want to come into plank on your elbows rather than palms, and you're going to reach out and just tap the top of that tin. Just like that. Now the further you can reach, the harder your abs are going to work. Alright, let's go. So you're trying to keep your hips still. They're going to want to rock around side to side like that. Keep them locked in place, reaching as far as you can for that tin. Keep them hips still. Deep breath, last exercise. Keep them abs tight. Nearly there. There we go, guys, first round done. Grab a breather, have a minute, get yourself a drink. We've got 2 to go. Right guys, so second round. Remember this one's a little bit shorter. We're working 30 seconds instead of 40, and we've only got 15 seconds rest instead of 20, yeah? So shorter sets, we just push that a little bit harder, try and get as much out of each set as we can. Yeah, remember we're down to 30 on, 15 off this time round. Cool, so we're back to star jumps, grab both your tins, plenty of space, 30 seconds, let's get this second round done. Okay, so we're back to star jumps. So yeah, remember, the more you move, the more you're going to burn. You can come all the way up. Get a bit more movement in. Just careful chucking them tins around the living room. There we go, so a bit of a quicker turn round. Back into those Romanian deadlifts. Bit of a bend at your knees, back's flat. Tins on the outside of your hips, push them hips back over. Remember, it's not a squat, you're not bending your knees, you don't want them locked. A little bit of a soft bend, and just pushing your hips back over, keeping your back as flat as you can. And again, you want to feel that pull down the back of your legs, getting them hamstrings working. There we go, just keep that back flat as well. Second one done, curl and press. So back to arms, coming up, using your biceps, twisting and pushing out, using them shoulders. Nice and controlled, not relying on any swinging. There we go. All the way up, back down. Pin them elbows at your side when you're doing your curl. And then you're isolating that bicep, forcing the muscle to work. There we go. Once you get that movement down, you can afford to speed them up a little bit. Remember, we've got 10 seconds less each set to work with. Got to try and push that a little bit harder every time. Curl and press, done. Leg raise. Same again, 1 or 2. Depends how confident you're feeling. Lay it down. Hands under your lower back. You're going to go feet together. Up and across. Big deep breaths. Plenty of tension on your core. So you get the feel for where them tins are. If you want to rest your head, go ahead. Leg raises done, up to lunges. So back to 2 tins. Same again, either stepping backwards or forwards, whatever feels more natural to you, whatever's more comfortable. Tins at eye level, pushing both up together, yeah, every lunge. There we go, keep that rear knee up. Same again, any problem, just drop the tins out. Try and focus on that lunge. And of course, we've been through plenty of alternatives already in our previous videos. Keep that control. Last one. Back to start. Nice one. Halfway through the second one. Plank pull across. So we're back to abs. Same again, another one where you really want to just focus on taking your time. Think about the movement and all the tension in the right places where we want it. So we're in the plank. Pulling across with your opposite arm, so you're reaching under yourself to pull it across. There we go. The closer together your feet are, the harder your core's going to have to work to stabilise you. So if you're having any trouble, just bring your feet a little bit wider, give yourself a bigger platform and a little bit more stability. There we go, flying through the second one. Plank's done, rear flies. So we're coming up, bit of a bend in your knees, same again. Tilting forward with the flat back. Chin in each hand, up and out to the side, and back over. Same again, nice and controlled. Don't want to be relying on a bounce or any momentum to get those weights up. And feel the back of them shoulders kicking in, nearly there. There we go, 3 to go. In and out abs. So same again, grab the tin with both feet, bring it in, grab it with your hands, come back out. Now, deep breaths, plenty of control. Go some feet up if you can. Take your time, get a good grip on that can. So you keep that core engaged. There we go, 2 to go. Squat with a push. So grab both your cans, remember we're down, out, in and up. And we've got one more to do and second round's done. Grab a breather, tins in tight, There we go, so down nice and low, weights in your heels, out, in, and back up, down, out, in, and up. So just nice and controlled, take your time. Digging through them heels. 10 seconds. So second round's nearly done. There we go, 1 to go. Plank taps to finish up. Same again, just want your 110. Back to elbows again. Keep your hips still. Just reaching out. Tapping that tin. I'm going to go elbows, same again. The closer together your feet are, the harder this is going to be on your core. Last exercise. Nearly there. Keep them hips still. Well done guys, 2 down, 1 to go. Grab yourself a drink and we'll get it finished up. Okay, so last round, we're going to be moving through it quite quick because we've only got 20 seconds to work, 10 seconds to rest, yeah? Sounds like it's going to be a lot nicer than that first one. See how you feel at the end of this one, yeah? So we're going to be moving nice and quick, relatively rapid from one exercise to the next as well. So we're 20 seconds on, starting with star jumps, got both your cans, let's go, last set. Back to star jumps on the spot. And we just got one more set of everything. You can all get through one more set of everything. See the last one. Swan, star jumps done. Romanian deadlifts, bend your knees. Weight on your outside of your thighs. Drive those hips back over. Back stays flat. Any tension on those hamstrings. And once you get a feeling for where that tension ends, you can actually take a little bit of range off. Just keep that tension on. Just moving through where you can feel those hamstrings stretching. 20 seconds. There we go, that's them done. Curl and press. So biceps up and shoulder pressing above your head. Alright, let's go. So we're up, twist and push, twist and down. So 20 seconds, we've got to work as hard as we can, get the most out of them as possible. There we go, next, leg raise. Remember, we just got 10 seconds between exercises, nice and quick. Let's go. I'm going to fly through this last one. There we go, 20 seconds, don't let them feet rest. Lunges. Bring your tins with you, eye level. Stepping forwards or backwards. Big overhead press. We're going to go reverse for this set. So press, back to start. 20 seconds, done. Lunges done. Plank with a pull across. So you want both tins pulling across the body. Yeah, in the plank, feet as close together as you can. Last round. Let's really challenge them abs. Push each exercise as hard as we can. Yeah, nice and controlled. Last ones. Yeah, we're getting there. Rear flies. So standing up, both tins, palms facing in over. Bend your knees, tilt. There we go. Out to the side, nice and high. Coming a little slightly back over as well. Rear flies done, 3 to go. In and out abs. The last one, grabbing your tin, bring it in, and hand it off. Same again, we're only working 20 seconds, but your form's more important than how many reps we do. Don't lose that technique, don't lose that form. There we go, 2 to go, squat and push. Both tins together, feet about shoulder width. So we're down, out, in, straight back up. Yes, we've got a little bit of a squat hold in there. Get them legs working. Bring your core in as well as we have to balance. There we go, last one, plank taps. 20 seconds and we're done, we're nearly there. Into plank, same again, feet right next to each other. Just really challenge that core. Last set, reaching as far as you can. There we go, 3 rounds done. Smashed it. So like you can see for yourself, like we were on about last week, we can really change things up, add another dynamic just by using a couple of little household bits that we've got laid around at the minute. Same again, any feedback, feel free to leave it. Get back to me or Mel, let me know any sort of sessions you might want to see coming up. Take care of yourselves and stay safe. See you next week.